Shalom, Brukuba. Welcome. I am joined today with the slippery one, who is definitely the reason why we were late.
It was me. It was me.
Yes, but we love him and we forgive him for all things, as we should, as fellow believers in Christ. So, for those who did not see, I was on a stream with Bob of Speaker's Corner yesterday, or from Speaker's Corner, and we went over the Talmudic dilemma. I gave the most succinct version of the presentation I've done so far. And I ended up hosting his live stream for about like 30 to 40 minutes because his computer crashed. So I was in full control of Bob's live stream, and he said I was the only other person to have ever hosted his live stream besides him. So that was fun. Um, Go check that out if you want. But I have a beautiful little present I want to show off to the internet and the people. I got this for my friend. It says Mazel Tov on your bar mitzvah. And it's beautiful and metal and heavy, and it's made in Israel. So I have this nice little beautiful plaque congratulating me on my bar mitzvah with no Hebrew on it whatsoever, even though it was made in Israel and it's for bar mitzvah. There's no Hebrew on it, which I think is hilarious. So this
So
is
if
gonna
anybody
live.
was questioning, Chris is now officially a Jew.
I'm officially a Jew, yes.
You see, my work
But
is coming to fruition. He's mine now.
so I have that available on my desk at all times to remind me to be more of a Jew, I guess. I don't know. Anyway, today we're gonna be going over the Bible, the Bible, Bereshit specifically. Um, Going through probably a couple of chapters. I haven't decided exactly how much we're doing because right now I'm working on my book. Because I got like reinvigorated while doing the stream. So my book is currently at 238 pages and 47,000 words. It's probably going to be closer to 60,000 words by the time I'm done with it. And I don't know how many pages. Hopefully not 300 pages because that will decrease cost of everything else, but we'll see how that goes. Anyway, we're making progress. I have people helping me create it now, so I should be able to get it done in the next couple of months, at least the writing, if not everything else. So, progress being made. So, I
Boy,
want to
oh
get back to that.
boy.
If it's up to me and YouTube algorithm didn't matter, I would just be working on that right now. But, YouTube is what it is, and it's a platform that desires you to constantly be slaving away at it. So, I am going to stream for like an hour and a half or so. Um, might cover 3 to 4 chapters, and then I'm gonna go back to work on the book. But it should still be pretty good. This is not as interesting of a section, but I think it still teaches us some family values that we need to care for and be mindful of. Speaking of which, I'm gonna throw up my my banner. Um, I like the way Jack Ray thinks. Yeah, Stephen, the slippery one. Uh, use tiny print to cut down on cost the Scottish way. Yeah, no. I'm thinking about that. I might actually just do all my quotations in smaller print, which would make the book significantly smaller, because around half of the content's just going to be quotes from the Talmud, the Quran, and various other books that he steals from, because Muhammad was the ear. So, whenever I gave the presentation yesterday, we'll get into the Bible soon, but whenever I got into the presentation yesterday, I mentioned to Bob that Muhammad's called the ear in Surah 9, and that apparently has slipped by him all these years. Shocked me. He's like, man, we need to start calling Muhammad that all the time. I was like, yeah, we need to start calling Muslims Mohammedans and start calling Muhammad the ear.
He was
And
like, I thought
is
Muhammad was called the rear.
that's only what they also called him. Maybe Umar and Abu Bakr, who got their needs fulfilled whenever he was in his wife's dress.
Yeah, where did we see
Anyway,
that? Oh, that was David and Jai, I
Jay.
think.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Chris, is that oh, you said it already. It was on Bob's channel.
yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So you can go check that out if you're so interested. I might get the video and upload it on my channel in a couple weeks. But if you want to go check it out, go tell Bob, hey, nice. Uh, get a new computer because he needs a new computer. It'd be great. Anyway, we're gonna go through a couple chapters, and then I'm going to go back to work, and then I'm gonna go to sleep, hopefully. Sound good?
This is
Okay.
Chris's nice way of saying that hanging out with me has destroyed his sleep schedule.
It's also my nice way of telling you that we're not gonna talk after. I'm just gonna say,
Yeah.
okay, goodbye, and then let me go, and then go on. Because I'm like making progress for the first time in a couple weeks, and I want to continue to
Mm,
make progress so I can actually finish this book this year, which I told myself I was going to. And Chris already finished his book, and that's going to be available in 4 days. For those who don't know,
mm.
Chris from Speaker's Corner wrote the Islamic Dilemma book. That's going to be available on April 24th or April 25th.
25th, I
You
think.
purchase on Amazon. You can get that. You can have it printed off of that. He'll be shipped right to you using Amazon. You can also get the ebook version immediately right now if you so want. But get your weekly night of sleep. It's accurate. Anyway, Chris already finished his book and I'm feeling behind. So I'm gonna try to finish my book before Christmas. That's my goal. Then we'll finish the Quran project and the Dawa script and everything else, hopefully this year as well. We'll have those 4 resources out to the world, and then that will be everything everyone needs to destroy Islam available online, mostly for free. I don't know about Chris, but all my stuff's gonna be available for free. So let's go through not my book, which I had open still, the Bible. Anyway, how you doing? You doing good?
Me or the or the
Yeah,
or
you.
the I've had a weird day, which isn't really saying much. But I'm doing
Okay,
good actually. I had a good day. It was weird, but it was good. And that's like my baseline for judging anymore. If it was good. So I'm in a good mood, Chris. I'm ready to go.
that's awesome. Uh, Laura got a gifted sub from Jack Ray, as
Oh
well as
boy.
4 others.
Thanks,
So
Jack.
that's pretty fun. Now she can spam the chat with z
Sahi.
emoji.
Yeah.
Sahi. Yeah. Thank you,
Hey
Jack, for the
Lala, just
memberships.
for fun, it's my favorite. I've talked with Chris about this a million times. It's like a red circle stamp. She probably, I don't
Oh,
know
the
if she knows how
Sahi.
to get into the custom
Sahi.
chat stuff, but it's very visually satisfying. There we go. Yeah, Chris has got it.
Just kicked my chair at the
It's
back of my head.
glorious. Oh,
Oh, she did it. Good job.
no, sorry to question you, Lala, in front of all these people.
Anyway, thank you, Jack. I'm in pain. Oh, I did actually confirm with Sebastian. Like hit the funny bone on my foot. I did confirm with Sebastian that he actually can receive memberships. He just is
So he
not.
just never has.
He just never has. So we checked both settings that would keep him from doing it. He does not have a corporate account. He doesn't have a brand account, and he has it enabled. So the two, and he is not a baby, but even under 18-year-olds can still get memberships. So
Okay.
he should be able to get it. He just never has, which
Is
is
he is
hilarious.
he currently here? Is he present at the moment too?
I don't
Because
know.
every
That's
time I
really
see
funny.
that, it's like I don't want him to get one now. Like I'll make another channel and just let that one get it, and then I can give him the login for it. But I feel like at this point, his channel
It's just
he cannot
cursed.
get a membership because it would just
Yeah.
be it would not be correct.
Oh man. No, that's great. No, we love Sebastian here. Anyway, so starting up with Better Sheet 26, chapter 1. I was about to say Aya 1. Ugh. Anyway, the Quran has
Too
corrupted
much
me.
time in the ditches.
Yeah. Now there was a famine in the land, besides the previous famine that occurred in the days of Abraham. So Isaac went out to Gerar, to Abimelech, king of the Philistines, and Yahweh appeared to him and said, "Do not go down to Egypt, dwell in the land which I shall tell you." So now Yahweh is appearing to Isaac as well. So this is the at least second time he has seen God physically on the planet, which is Jesus. Sojourn in this land, and I will be with you and bless you For to you and to your seed I will give all these lands, and I will establish the oath which I swore to your father Abraham. And I will multiply your seed as the stars of heaven, and I will give your seed all these lands, and by your seed all the nations of the earth shall be blessed, because Abraham listened to my voice and kept my charge, my commandments, my statutes, and my laws. How do you interpret this last section here? I'm curious. Do you take that as literally fulfilling the Torah the way
Uh,
that the rabbis do?
Probably not, because I don't.
Okay,
Well, it's a little bit tricky there.
right.
Uh,
Mostly because of
because
the
if
laws
he
there
did,
at the end.
then he would be
Aldati,
sinless, you know. Yeah, because the Hebrew
right,
words here are the same that are used for all sorts of, I mean, even like capital crimes when the Torah is given at Sinai.
right.
Uh, so we have miswothai, my commandments,
Hmm.
hukothai, my statutes, with thorothai, and
Hmm.
my Torahs, basically my laws. Um, I would say that this is kind of a picture into the New Testament type of following God, which is you keeping God's word by faith. Uh,
Hmm.
and so these things would be, I think, maybe in the New Testament terminology would be like the fruits of that, but not necessarily. You wouldn't say that because I did such and such,
Right.
uh, that has gained me this favor with God.
Yeah. Because Abraham sins explicitly. So he's
Hmm.
not flawless in it, but he was continually in remembrance and dedication to God and his relationship with him and his faith in him throughout his life, seemingly. So, other than the instances where he is doing that with Sarah, where
Hmm.
he like abandons her to the kings, which may or may not be sin. I would count that as sinful myself, but who knows how God classified that based on the thing of like protecting the innocent life and him actually being worried about dying. It was like, oh, was it cowardice and bad because he gave away his wife, or was he being prudent? Um,
Hmm.
but other than that, I can't think of any like immediate sins that Abraham did off the top of my head.
Hmm.
Um, so he was him and Joseph are portrayed as the most sinless of all of the leaders.
Well, and it made me
Um,
think of because in a similar
oh,
category
also
of
with
topic,
Hagar. Anyway,
David is called a man after God's own heart, and
hmm
he did some pretty terrible stuff.
hmm
So I think
super
it's
messed up
more of
family.
it's a uh, what would be the word? And well, I keep thinking of all sorts of words, and then I'm like, no, that's not the one. That's not. What would you? It's a
An example?
an example. Like from their perspective, or not perspective, it would be not an attitude. I'm whittling down to the right word. God looks at the heart, right?
Right.
So he knows that the human heart is flawed
Hmm.
and incapable, and yet what you what you aim it towards, I guess. I'm not really saying this very well. Save me, Chris. Faith? Is it
uh,
maybe just faith is an easy way to sum it up?
yeah. The attitudes of our heart, our heart posture to God,
Mm.
and all that. Yeah. No, I get that. And you could
Because
also
you could
like point.
argue that the Pharisees were 10 times the keepers of the commandments by not
Having all the hedges around it. Yeah.
legally breaking them,
Right. Right.
but their heart was obsessed
Far.
with the actions rather than the reason for the actions.
Right. They've missed. They do the letter of the law, but not the heart of the law.
Mm.
Yeah. Which will be related to our discussion on the topic.
Mm.
Uh, But yeah, no, you could just like you could just say that this is like part of the typology of Christ as well with Abraham,
Mm,
because Abraham is sinless here, and then we see that Jesus is sinless. So we have this like sinlessness because of the faithfulness of Abraham, because of the sinlessness of Abraham. He is then able to bless all the earth through the seed of Isaac, and
mm.
Isaac himself
And
is a
then
type of Christ. So you just
eventually all the way down to Jesus.
right, yeah. Can't wait for Jacob. I'm super curious. What about Jacob do you like specifically? That's an interesting character to be.
He's a fun
Uh,
guy. He's like he's kind of the opposite of David, I feel like. He's very carnal a lot of times. But not in like in a bad way, but in a way where it's like, "Oh yeah, I could see that or I could do." But then he kind of uh rises up to
mm,
greatness here and there.
right. Yeah. But, like, hey, here's your new wife. Oh, you just got to twist my arm into it, I guess. Yeah. The heel grabber. Yeah. I mean, one of my names is Jacob, so it's cool, dude. Yeah.
Yeah, that's me in Hebrew. My middle name is James, which
Yeah.
is a
Yaakov.
Latinized, comes from Hebrew Yaakov,
Hmm.
which is weird that we still like in the New Testament, Jesus' brother James
Is
uh,
James, not
is
Jacob. Yeah.
James, not Jacob.
Very strange.
Hmm.
Yes. Yeah. I agree.
Yeah, the
But
supplanter.
the supplanter. Yep. My name is the warrior for Christ who supplants. That's what my name means. Based. Anyway. Cheaters never prosper unless they do. It's such a great. Anyway, enough tangents. We're on a
Yeah,
mission today. So
yeah,
Isaac
yeah,
lived in Gerar. Then the men of the place asked about his wife, and he said, "She is my sister," for he was afraid to say, "She is my wife." Now he is just straight up lying.
yeah.
You know,
Mm,
uh, Abraham was telling a half truth. He learned from his father basically how to lie, or he probably heard stories of this and was like, "Hey, I'm gonna do that too." But for him,
yeah,
it was
like
like
it's not a
just
bad idea.
straight up a lie. It's not even a
Mm,
little true. She is his cousin. Anyway, for he was afraid to say, "My wife," thinking, "lest the men of the place kill me on account of Rebecca, for she is beautiful in appearance." Now, Rebecca and Joseph and I think Ruth are the only women and men, only people who are like has that explicit epithet of extremely beautiful in appearance. Um, so Rebecca likely was as attractive as Sarah or more attractive, and Sarah, into her late 80s, was being sought after to the point of death. So we can imagine how attractive Rebecca is. And he's arguably way more reasonably afraid that they're going to get killed for it. So now it happened when he had been there a long time, that Abimelech, king of the Philistines, looked out through a window and saw, behold, Isaac was caressing his wife Rebekah. Oh no, he's doing that. And the Hebrew here's laughing with, which is
well,
also
yeah,
kind of
that I
funny.
was gonna say someone in the comments said, "I love linguistics," and I thought that, well, this would be, and it's don't worry, Chris, it's not only gonna take 5 seconds. But so Isaac's name Yitzhak in Hebrew,
Means to
uh,
laugh. Yeah,
right, and
yeah.
and and
This
from
is
the root
Mizlach or Mizlach.
mitzahek.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
Isaac, it's in they're literally side by side. Yitzhak mitzahek. So
Mhm.
Isaac was one could read it, which wouldn't be very good, but like one could read it. Isaac was Isaacing. Uh, if you took the names to be like nouns rather than verbs,
Well,
really is what it is. So,
but it also has the et here, so it's like the object part. So he's doing so Isaac is Isaacing Rebecca, but it's like
mm,
like it's pointing into Rebecca. So he's doing that directly to his wife,
mm.
which is pretty fun. So she's almost treated
So it's
as
a
like
funny
the
thing of like
object in this
and
sentence.
this will have to be its own tangent some other time. But the idea where we see so much in the Bible where people and even the word name in Hebrew kind of encapsulates the idea of
Shem.
character.
Hmm.
Um, where we see so many times people's names like they do end up fulfilling their names. Uh,
Yes, all
super
the time, especially
interesting, and
whenever
makes
Jesus renames people, it always
uh
happens. Yeah.
yeah. And so this is a quick message for parents when you're naming your kids. Give them something. Give them something that you want to see them. You expect to see in their future.
Yeah. It was practice in Hokkaido for a while until the kid turned like 6 or something like that because they had such a high infant mortality rate. They wouldn't name their kid. So they would instead, whenever they were young, they would name them really foul things, like almost like slurs. So they would name them like the S word, or like, so it's just like hey vomit, come over here, or like
Oh
hey
wow.
putrid, or like, so they gave them these disgusting names because they believed that the demons, the Oni, would not go near their kids if their kids were named after disgusting things. So for a very long time, I don't know if they still practice it now, but for a very long time they were naming their kids all these vile things for years and just calling them that, and then they would give them a real name after the point. So you end up with just, can you imagine like naming your kid like, "Hey poop pile, come over here,"
Right,
and
right.
yeah,
But and
yeah,
that's the thing that I think I think we've touched on this once
uh,
before. But uh, in obviously Hebrew's the language they're speaking, and so these names actually it would be like if his parents called him laughter,
mm,
and
it would be,
and
yeah,
and so everybody's names it would be like if I like my son I named him Gavriel, God is my strength, and it
mm,
would be like when it's dinner time you yell out the window, God is my strength, it's dinner time. It's
mhm,
cool to have because it's just I mean how many times you say somebody's name in a day
right,
where you're praising God, but you're also encouraging the person who you named that
right,
to live into that character.
right.
It's interesting how we got to a point in culture where, and I don't know if maybe English might be one of the few
We've
one of the
detached from it,
few
yeah.
languages where we're detached from, because anytime I meet somebody else, like somebody who speaks a different language, I ask them their name and what does it mean, and they'll
Hmm.
tell me. But
Hmm.
I mean, I only learned my name
Yeah,
Stephen was from Greek Stephanos. I think I was like a senior in high school when I was just looking it up myself. Uh, and so it's just interesting that we've gotten away from that. Maybe I don't know if you can't. Well, probably you can't. But I've already taken us back to the Bible, Chris.
that's fine. Like even Japanese and Chinese, they, when they introduce themselves, they even denote what characters for words to like define their name. So
Oh,
you'd be
really?
like, "Oh yeah, my name is like Sakamoto," for the, with the characters for light and for Karen. So like you can spell things in some different ways. So you would
Mm,
specify the characters you want for the person for their name. And yeah, like even very common like female names like Sakura is just the name of cherry blossom. It's just, it
mm-hmm,
means cherry blossoms. So you're literally naming your daughter something beautiful.
mm-hmm,
Doing the same thing in Hebrew all the time, like Avraham or Avram. Uh, Av is father, and then
mm-hmm,
Ra is like great, or like of many. So he's
mm-hmm.
literally like a great father, or the father of many. Like you have, every single time you call your dad, you're like, "Hey, great daddy, uh,
Right,
can
right,
you help me?" Or like anything like that. So it's really beautiful. Um, and we don't do it anymore at all
right.
in English. Yeah, where a lot of people don't even know the name or the meaning of their own names.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
so I never really thought about it,
My
but
son's name's
I would
Based.
you say, Chris, maybe English is one of the few languages where people, like majority of people, have names that are just in their mind, they're just names rather than
Right.
meanings?
English is for sure that way. I don't know how many other languages are that way.
Mm,
Of the languages I know, it's the only one other than German. Um, who is that way. So we probably get it from our Germanic, but again, all speculative on my part. I am
right,
not
right.
confident on that, but if I had to guess, it would come from the German side of it. But all of our roots are actual, like, hey, I named my kid this thing because I want them to be that thing, or because they look like that, or whatever.
Hmm. Yeah, it's been stressful for me whenever we've had four kids now. And every time it's time, like we didn't name our youngest, she's 5 now. We didn't name her till we were in the hospital for 3 days because we couldn't. I think I told that story before, but it's
Yeah,
just it's an interesting thing that is so significant biblically that we're very distant from nowadays.
yeah. Very cool if we get back to it. Of course, all my kids have Hebrew names, so you know,
Mhm.
just based like that, I guess. Anyway,
Well,
so
you are
Isaac was
Jewish.
Isaacing. Yeah, yes, I have the medallion to prove it. Yes, yes. Um, oy vey. Oh no. Ah, okay, wait. Anyway, yeah, I need to have a thing. 'Cause I want to take a DNA test and just figure out how Jewish I actually am, and if
Mhm.
I'm not at all, anyway. And I'm gonna be honest. Even if I am Jewish, I'm not gonna get Well, I'm already circumcised. I can't. Never mind. I was gonna say I would never go through adult circumcision unless God is like, do it.
Yeah,
But
I wouldn't
that
recommend it
oof,
either. But
oof. Anyway,
also, really, I really wasn't as bad as you. It was visually terrible, but it was really not bad. I mean, I didn't even take any pain medication for it.
anyway, Isaac was Isaac and his wife, and then Abimelech called Isaac and said, "Behold, surely she is your wife. How then did you say she is my sister?" Isaac said to him, "Because I said, lest I die on account of her." And Abimelech said, "What is it? What is this you have done to us? One of the people might easily have lain with your wife, and you would have brought guilt upon us." So Abimelech commanded all the people, saying, "He who touches this man or his wife shall be surely put to death." Abimelech is interesting because I'm pretty sure he's the guy that also encountered this with Abraham.
Oh,
So,
really?
if I remember correctly, that is what, 21? Um, I think he is the other king
Oh, well,
that
oh,
goes,
no, no, no,
yeah,
no.
yeah, it is Abimelech. So this already happened to him some years ago in Gerar. So whenever Abraham goes down to Gerar, he stays in that land, and then Abimelech is still king. So it's likely early on into his kingship. But he is king in Genesis 20 of Gerar, and then in 26 or 27, whatever we were just in, 6, Abimelech again is king. And as this, yeah, as you just point out, Melech is king and Av his father. So this is literally just my father is king, which is
Now
pretty
it gets
cool in and
tricky,
of
gets
itself.
tricky, because in Hebrew, avi is the construct form of av, so it could be father of the king, but it also could be my father is the king.
It's true.
Just
Yeah.
a
Yeah.
pedantic pointing out there.
The yod could be mine. It could be possessive sometimes. So,
Yeah, or it could be the
or it could
construct
be
state, which
of.
is an
Right.
interesting thing in Hebrew. Uh, but it is so I wouldn't know which one it is.
It could be different Abimelechs. They could just be two kings that named their kid. Like, could be a father Abimelech naming his son Abimelech.
Mhm.
Um, my head canon that I enjoy is Abimelech is the same king. He has yet to die. He's an older man now because it's not that long of a time period between the two. It's maybe like 30, 40 years. Um no, I guess it would be 40 years. A little over 40 years. So he could have been a young king and then be an old king. Or it could be a father and a son. But it would be really funny if, as a young man, he has this weird random Hebrew dude come in with all sorts of, possessions and people and livestock and this beautiful wife. And I'm like, she hot. Then it
Mm.
turns out that I try to marry her, and then God prevents me from sleeping with her. I send her out of my house, and then I, send this dude away with a bunch of money. And then Abimelech, as an old dude, has the son of that Hebrew come in with another beautiful woman, more beautiful than the mother-in-law of that woman. He's like, wait,
Yeah.
wait. And then, after a little bit, he sees it and he's like, ah, nah, fam, what are you doing? But it's also interesting because he said, lest I die on account of her. Why did he say
Mhm.
this? Unless it's the same Abimelech, unless he just had the encounter with Yahweh and Abraham is like Yahweh threatened him with death. And then he's like, oh, well, I'm not going to go sleep around with other women randomly I'm gonna like verify they are actually not married. And he's like, how could you do this thing? Uh, so
Yeah,
I love
so
the
so
fact that it,
actually revisiting chapter 20, which is with Abraham, uh he does, I think the quote, just to make sure, in Hebrew it's the same, but he does say, what is this you've done to us?
yeah,
So
yeah,
and also this time though he specifies like anybody who bothers either one of them. It seems like, seems congruent with, now again, if it was his son and maybe he
right,
learned his from his father the lesson, like, oh,
right,
I know what
yeah,
happens here, like.
yeah. Gosh, these Hebrews are boiling my blood. Abimelech, circa
Gosh.
2000 BC. Yeah. But I just love the idea that it was a young dude the first time and then an old dude the second time, and it's the same
Mm,
king dealing with the same family twice in a row doing the same nonsense.
yeah.
Because they're like, it's offensive too, because it's like, I don't trust your people. You look shifty. I'm gonna lie to you about who my wife is, so
Mm,
you don't murder me on account of her. So it's
those
like
slippery Jews.
those slippery. We don't wait. Let's not say stuff like that. We're gonna get the channel banned. So,
I mean, slippery
uh,
in that their skin is well
Canaanites,
oiled, and yeah.
the slippery Canaanites. Anyway, um, yeah, no, we can say Judaizers, but not, let's not
Yeah.
go too far with it. Okay. Um, Neither of us. Or again, I have my proof. YouTube. If you, I got it. I love Jews. I might be Jewish. I follow Yeshua. I follow a Jewish God. Anyway, so because I said, "Lest I die on account of her," and then Abimelech said, "What is this you have done to us? One of the people might easily have lain with your wife, and you have brought guilt upon us." Why would he say this? Either it happened to him or it happened to his dad, but he had guilt upon him because they tried to sleep with a married woman of
Hmm.
the Hebrews, and then God of the Hebrews got mad at them and then supernaturally cursed them for a bit. So Abimelech commanded all the people, saying, "Whoever touches the man or his wife shall surely put to death." Why? Because he's terrified of Yahweh, as he should be. And Isaac
Hmm.
sowed in the land that and reaped that. Oh, wow. Isaac sowed in that land and reaped in the same year 100-fold, and Yahweh blessed him. And the man became great and continued to grow greater until he became very great. And he had possessions of flocks and possessions of herds and many servants. So the Philistines were jealous of him. Now, all the wells which his father's servants had dug in the days of Abraham his father, the Philistines stopped up by filling them with earth. So Abraham
Starting to
filled a bunch
sound
of
awful familiar to
with,
modern days.
yeah, I was gonna say with like Gaza. Anyway,
Yeah.
the Philistines again. There's a very interesting idea that modern day Palestinians are just Satan's rehashing of the Philistines, because
I
so
mean,
many
it's
of the things that the
linguistically
Philistines
it.
did, it's the same
Mhm.
word. It's the
Yeah.
exact same word. Philistinia and Palestine, it's you could just call them Philistines.
Right.
It's
I mean, even in
the
Arabic,
same.
Palestine.
Yeah,
It's.
yes, it's Phalistin. It is literally the same word. But even beyond the name being the same, their
Mhm.
actions and attitudes towards the Jews and all the stuff that they're doing, like they're coming. Anyway, a lot of it is vaguely familiar, and it seems like Satan is laughing about it. And even October 7th, if I remember
Mhm.
correctly, was the anniversary of Philistinia being destroyed. So it
Oh,
might
really?
be, if I remember correctly, I might be wrong with that. Was it Jacob Kahn or Joseph Kahn? He wrote a book on the subject. I was watching him speak on it, and he had that the what it was either the destruction by Samson or one of the other moments, but it was roughly around that time period.
Well, and also, I'm not probably related to this, but it was on what the Jews call Simchat Torah, the last day of Sukkot, which is
Hmm.
an annual Shabbat. So, and they did that on purpose, like with the Yom Kippur War.
Right.
They
Yeah.
know that
They like to do it
Jews are
that
going to
way.
be home, and vulnerable because it's a Shabbat, and we even read about that in the Hanukkah story where the pagan armies were purposely attacking on Shabbat because at the time the Jews would not they wouldn't engage in warfare on Shabbat. And then
Mhm.
it was at that point where they said, look, eh, eh, I forget how many, it was a lot of people that got slaughtered because they said we won't lift up arms on Shabbat, and they just
Right.
basically were martyred. And they said if we do this, then that's the end of us because they know we won't fight back on that day. So
Right.
they kind of had a convening to say, what do we do? And that's when they allowed battle to take place on Shabbat if it was defensive.
Mhm. Yeah. There's a lot of interesting parallels you can pull from it. Um, a lot of history, a lot of like maybe prophecy. And it's also
Hmm.
interesting that the colors of Islam are white, red, black, and green.
Uh-huh.
And it just so happens to be the four colors of the four horses of the apocalypse are
Right.
white, the pale, or no, pale is green, white,
Yeah, the color
green,
of death.
black, and red. Yeah, the color of death is green. So it just so happens to be that the colors of the end times, like horsemen of the apocalypse, are the same colors of Islam. So happens to be. Anyway.
And we read about beheadings in Revelation, which is something that's really, I
Yeah.
think Islam has kind of cornered the market on that anymore. Unless you're like thinking of the Mexican drug cartels, which sometimes they do that, but they do other weird, grotesque things.
Yeah, we don't need to get into what they do. Anyway, so Philistines jealous of the Jews. Man, is that accurate? Now, all of the wells which his fathers dug, they stopped up because they were bitter. Then Abimelech said to Isaac, "Go away from us, for you are too mighty for us." And Isaac departed from there and camped in the valley of Gerar and settled there. Then Isaac dug again the wells of water which had been dug in the days of his father Abraham, but the Philistines had stopped them up after the death of Abraham, and he called them by the same names by which his father had called them. Then Isaac's servants dug in the valley and found there a well of flowing water. So, how did he know what the name of his father was? Well, he was sojourning with his father for 37 years, um, over 40 years, because his father died when he was, what, like 50, 60?
I'd say,
It's
yeah,
been a while.
something around there.
Yeah. And then Isaac's servants dug in the valley and found water flowing, which was a wonderful thing at the time. And the herdsmen of Gerar contended with the herdsmen of Isaac, saying, "The water is ours." So he named the well Esek because they quarreled with him. It basically means contention or
Mm,
quarreling. So he named it very literally quarreling. They do the same thing with the names of the people. Then they dug another well and they contended over it also. So he called it Setna, or being like aggressive with one another. Then he moved away from there and dug another well, and they did not contend over it, so he named it Rehoboth, which is, I believe, Rehoboth. Oh, Boath.
Rehoboth, yeah, like well,
That's
in
one of the
in
names as well for the kings. No, it's
oh, you
Rehoboam.
think
Never
of
mind.
Rehoboam? You think of
Yeah,
Solomon's
yeah.
son, that's terrible
hmm
son? Yeah, that's
hmm Different
Rehov.
name. Yeah.
Yeah, it would be Rehoboam would be like streets of people, or Rehoboth is plural for Rehov, which is in modern Hebrew they use for like the word for street,
hmm
which probably is way maybe, or uh in biblical Hebrew I'm trying to think of Rehov what it would, but so yeah, it's plural.
Wide
Yeah,
location
or
or wide
straits
place.
of, or
Yeah.
hmm
Wide roads.
yeah, yeah.
Um, yeah. And he said, "At least Yahweh has made room for us and will be fruitful in land." So that's where he's referencing is Yahweh making room for them, is
Hmm.
Rehoboth. And he went up from there to Beersheba, and Yahweh appeared to him in that night and said, I am the God of your father Abraham. Do not fear, for I am with you. I will bless you and multiply your seed for the sake of my servant Abraham. So he built an altar there and called upon the name of Yahweh and pitched his tent there. And there Isaac's servants dug out a well. So he trusted God that they would be fruitful at that location. But God is again appearing to Isaac.
Mm-hmm.
Now Abimelech came to him from Gerar with his advisor Azuth and Pichol or Fickle,
Uh, let's see.
yeah,
I've
Fickle.
got new contacts, so I gotta kind of focus extra.
He called the commander of
uh,
his army, and Isaac said to them, "Why have you come to me since you hate me and have set me away from you?" Then they said, "We see plainly that Yahweh has been with you." So we said, "Let there now be an oath between us, between you and us, and let us have cut a covenant with you." This is the same type of thing that happened with Abraham and God. Abraham and God. God cut a covenant with Abraham that
mhm.
involved the killing of the animals.
And
Um,
we're at Beersheba right now, right?
yes.
Which literally means the well of swearing, the well of an
Mhm.
oath.
Yeah. Sheva, which is where like Shevolts and all that stuff, the oath comes from.
Mm.
Yeah. Yeah. So they're making an oath in interesting location.
Yeah, at the place called the Well of the Oath.
Yeah. I'm seeing if Spencer's posting nonsense.
There's a lot there. Chris, I will excuse myself real quick to drain my wells bucket, and then I'll be right back.
Okay.
Continue on strongly without me.
Okay. Let me know if he starts saying anything nonsense and I'll ban him. That you will do us no harm. Oh, what I was gonna say. So we have here that Yahweh is uh establishing a new relationship with him at this location where oaths happen. And we also have Abraham talk about streaming. Oh, with his live stream, yeah. Um, but we have Abraham here, not Abraham, Isaac here establishing an oath both with God and with man, which is interesting. Again, getting typology. Um, then he made them a feast, and they ate and drank. And the next morning, oh, this is what it has. Now that you will do us no harm, just as we have not touched you, and you have done to you nothing but good, and sent you away to peace. You are now the blessed of Yahweh. So whenever you cut a covenant in that way, you show that if we harm you, let us be harmed by God in the process. But whenever God cut a covenant with Abraham, he is the one that took on the burden so that whenever man failed, God would be killed for it, which is super base. We already talked about that in detail. Then he made them a feast, and they ate and drank. And the next morning they arose early, and each swore to the other. Then Isaac sent them away, and they departed from him in peace. Fortunately, they're not swearing in the same way that Isaac swore to Abraham, or his servant swore to Abraham, where he like. Anyway, now it happened on that day that Isaac's servants came in and told him about the well in which they had dug, and said to him, "We have found water." So he called it Sheba. Therefore, the name of the city is Beersheba to this day. And Esau was 40 years old, and he took as a wife Judith, the daughter of Berai the Hittite, and also Basemath, the daughter of Elon the Hittite, and they brought bitterness to Isaac and Rebekah. So Esau is the brother of Jacob. Wait, did I skip something? When was they born? I missed something, didn't I? Did I jump down a chapter? Or did I skip 25? Oh, I skipped 25 and no one told me. That makes sense. Um, because we stopped midway through because I wanted to get deep into 25. All right, we're gonna back it up. Back it up. Um, all right, Spencer, you need to calm down, my guy. If you don't, I'm gonna put you in timeout. Anyway, so does he think I'm a Jew? Okay, yeah, he's getting in timeout. User timeout. Let's do 30 minutes. Okay. No, it doesn't actually move it from there. Interesting. Yeah, I'm pretty sure everyone here is a follower of Jesus. Yes, I think we are. All of us are indeed Christian here, including Christian Gadfly, who is below me at the moment. Anyway, so now it happened after the death of Abraham that God blessed his son Isaac, and Isaac lived by Ber Lahai Roi. Now, these are the generations of Ishmael, Abraham's son, which I was going to skip because I don't really care that much. These are the years of the life of Ishmael, 137 years, and he breathed his last and died, and he gathered his people. And they dwelt from Havilah to Shur, which is east of Egypt, as one goes towards Assyria. He settled in the face of all his brothers. So here we have the Ishmaelites being in the Sinai Peninsula, or just south of Canaan. He is not in Arabia. He is not in the Hijaz. He is not in Mecca. So Ishmael did not go down to establish the location. You also get this in Numbers, where it defines where the Ishmaelites dwelled. And it's not Arabia. It's actually in Sinai. So Islam is a false religion, but we all know that already. So now these are the generations of Isaac, Abraham's son. Abraham became the father of Isaac, and Isaac was 40 years old when he took Rebekah, literally had intercourse with, the daughter of Bethuel the Armenian, and Padan Aram, the sister of Laban the Armenian, to be his wife. Isaac entreated Yahweh on behalf of his wife because she was barren, and Yahweh was moved by his entreaty. So Rebekah, his wife, conceived. And rabbis in Bereshit Rabbah talk about this. Might be the Talmud as well. They talk about how why in the world was Rebecca not able to conceive? And one of the rabbis' opinions was actually the opposite of Rebecca's 3. One of the opinions is, oh, Rebecca was like 40. So she wasn't able to conceive because she was so old. So God actually helped her conceive because of her advanced years, which is deeply ironic with what Muslims believe about Rebecca. Anyway, but the children struggled together within her, and she said, "If it is so, why then am I this way?" So she went to inquire of Yahweh, and Yahweh said to her, "Two nations are in your womb, and two peoples will be separated from your body, and one people shall be stronger than the other. The older shall serve the younger." This is again very countercultural. There's lots of times in the Bible where God is specifically doing something countercultural to make us be aware that it's not our plans, it's not our desires, it's not our thoughts that are important in any given situation. It's his, because he knows what's best for us. He knows what's right for us. So our customs are sometimes a hindrance to our ability to serve him and to know him and to have relationship with him. So he uproots, he bucks against the common culture and practices of the day all throughout the Bible, Old Testament, New Testament, which is pretty based. And her days to give birth were fulfilled, and behold, there were twins in her womb. And the first came forth red, all over like a hairy garment, and they named him Esau, my brother for real. Afterward, his brother came forth with his hand holding onto Esau's heel, so his name was called Jacob, or the supplanter. And Isaac was 60 years old when she gave birth to them. So she was 20 years after they had gotten married that he was able to conceive. So he was
Chris,
40 when he
I want
married
to
her.
interject real quick.
What?
You said you were reading 25 yeah, chapter 25 verse 23. Can you say that
Right now,
one more
yeah.
time?
The two nations are in your womb, and two people will be separated from your body, and one people shall be stronger than the other, and the older shall serve the younger.
25:23.
Yeah.
Oops. Oh no, my internet.
I don't know. Okay, keep going. So 20 years they were trying to have kids and they were not able to. This is way better than his father, who tried for 100 years to have kids and wasn't able to. Or I guess like 80, however old he was whenever he got Sarah. But Jacob tried for 20 years and was not able to actually have. Oh, maybe he's back. Not able to actually have him. So
I just got the Groypers who were controlling everything. They cut out my internet for that second. Because I want to point this out. This is very important for all the
Rebecca was pregnant for 4 years.
I'll try to be I'll try not to be controversial.
Okay.
Uh so the
That's
reason I
fine.
asked and I don't know if you got to read it while I was gone. I imagine you did. You read 25:23. Uh in Hebrew, Vayomer Yahweh Adonai La
Mhm.
Shnei Goyim Bevitnech.
Mm.
There are two goyim in your womb.
Mm.
So
There are two going.
there's two goyim. So all the low IQ people who are telling you, I'm sorry, that that goyim is a Jewish racist slur against non-Jews.
Oh, that's funny.
Here is one of the 12. I think there's 12. Here's one of the
Hmm.
12 times. Well, actually, no, I think this doesn't even count because I think the 12 times that I'm thinking of are when the nation of Israel is called a goy or
There's
goyim.
550 times,
Here we have
555 times goy is used for a nation, by the way.
yes, but specifically when it's referring to Israel. So
Right.
here we have in the womb uh, that there's two goyim in your womb.
Hmm.
For anybody out there who ever has heard that or has wondered about that, it does not biblically or linguistically hold up. That now that's not to say that there are some goofy people out there
Goofies,
of a
goofies.
certain persuasion that will use that as a slur. There are, and I would say not without reason, although slurs are generally useless.
Hmm.
But if there are people that are trying to tell you that when this word is used, it means this, they're not being honest with you. Well, they're being honest and they're stupid, or they're not being honest with you. So I just had to throw that in there real quick because you've got the Hebrew up on the screen where everybody can see it. It's not like you don't have nobody has to take our word for it. We have Shnei Goyim, two Goyim. And it doesn't mean what a lot of people would like you to think it means.
Hmm.
So sorry to interrupt, Chris, but that really bothers me.
Words are hard, man. Honestly, the words are just hard. Yeah. Anyway, yeah. It's just I'm gonna highlight my goy there. Um all right. Let's make what color should goy be? Green? Green. Green goys. So
Gringos, gringos.
and green and the boys grew up, and Esau became a skillful hunter, a man of the field, but Jacob was a peaceful man living in the tents. Also, I'm blaming you that you didn't remind me that we skipped something. Definitely
Yeah,
your
well,
fault,
I
not my
was,
own fault.
I had a good like 4 minutes of where I was like, when's a good time to break off so I can go to the bathroom real quick? So I wasn't all there.
It's fair. Okay. We're also already at an hour somehow.
Oh,
Um,
really?
well,
Wow.
we'll see. Yeah. Isaac loved Esau because he had an appetite for hunted game, but Rebecca loved Jacob. So now we have favoritism
Mm-hmm.
happening within the family unit. So even though Isaac and Rebecca are the best couple of the patriarchs, we still
Mm-hmm.
have that their family is going to be torn apart because of favoritism. So this is one of the times, and actually I wrote a paper in college on this subject of the Bible teaching morality through story and how favoritism is a bad thing, so is polygamy, from the patriarch's own experiences.
Mm-hmm.
Because of favoritism, because of polygamy, every single family in the patriarchs was destroyed in
Mm-hmm.
some way, some shape, some form. All of them. Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. All three of them and their kids. All hurt by favoritism and all hurt by polygamy other than, Isaac. So although Isaac was still hurt by it because of his son. And so he also had just, there's also a lesson there of pick the right wife. It
Yes,
counts, it
absolutely.
matters, which we'll
Yeah.
get back to in 26. But
Mm.
and that's actually what reminded me is because I read the section on Esau getting the Canaanite wives and then being a thorn in the side of Isaac and Rebecca, and I was like,
Yeah.
wait, Esau shouldn't be
And there
alive yet. And then I was like, oh yeah, I forgot. Okay. Anyway, so and Jacob had cooked a stew, and Esau came in from the field, and he was famished. He was hungry. But it's like he's exhausted here. So hungry is
mm.
raya.
Yeah,
So
I
it's
think it's like it typically is translated as like starving.
yeah, which is interesting. Because it's beyond just hungry. It's an entirely different word. It doesn't even have the same root. It's
Yeah, because
three
I
entirely
think
different letters. Well, I
what,
guess
what
the
what verse are
ayin
we
is in
on,
both.
Chris? So I can,
29.
because I got a delay on my
Yeah,
monitor.
it's
Okay,
the last one in
29.
29.
Okay, because I'm wondering if, let's see, 29 here. Uh, Yazid,
Yef,
Yaakov, Nazir, Sadeh, Wahu,
ayef, ayef,
Aryef. Okay,
ayef,
yeah,
ayef.
that's not the word I was thinking of. I was thinking of Deuteronomy with uh where Jesus is when during his temptation, when it talks about
He was hungry. Yeah,
man lives off of man does
bread
not live
alone.
off of bread alone, because
Hmm.
why yarivcha, there's a word in Hebrew where God allowed you to hunger,
Mm,
but I don't think it's this word,
mm,
but I would have to
yeah.
revisit it. What is that,
The
Deuteronomy
word
8?
I don't remember off the top of my
Oh,
head.
okay.
The word for bad in Hebrew is ra.
Yeah.
The word for hungry just adds a he to the end of it, so it's just ra,
Mm.
because hungry is bad. And I love that so much. It does not to do with food. You don't have anything else. It's just like that's really bad. That's Ra, which is like the name of the Egyptian deity, which is really funny that they use that name as a slur, basically.
Mm.
And then whenever you're talking about being hungry, it's you just it's baddie.
Ra.
It's also feminine, so it's just like female bad.
So it's extra
what
bad.
what what is the worst thing women do? They get hangry. So there you go. Yeah. It applies to my wife beautifully. It's wonderful. Anyway, um, then Esau said to Jacob, "Please give me a swallow from the red stuff. This red stuff, for I am famished." It's very
Which
strange.
again is a fun for people out there who like linguistics.
Yeah,
That's also
hadam,
kind of a play on words.
hadam, hadam.
It's ha'adom,
Hmm.
hazeh.
Which is
Yeah,
like
this
Adam.
red. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah,
The Adam. Because Adam itself means like ready.
right.
Uh,
Like clay,
yeah,
reddish clay.
right. Because Adam was made from clay. He's made from dirt.
Hmm.
So we have the red stuff, for I
Yeah,
am famished again, and it's the same word. So he's exhausted and he wants food. Therefore, his name was called Edom. But
right.
Jacob
Well,
said,
okay. So
first,
there's three times
can you go
there.
through Edom?
There's three of
Yeah,
those. There's
right.
uh
So Edom,
get
Edom,
me
and then
from the red
Edom.
stuff this red stuff, and therefore his name
Right,
is called like red, basically. Edom.
right. Yeah, literally just red,
Mm.
which the Edomites are the red ones.
Yes,
So
right.
you have it's interesting. And then they're also named after like humanity, and they're
Hmm.
related to Israel. And then there's all the stuff that's happening with like Israel and the world and
It's like
typology, and it's all cool.
the carnal side of things.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's like
Hunger,
the
you reacting to your natural needs, and
desires,
willing to give
needs.
up important things to satisfy the natural part.
It's like he's representing carnality itself.
Hmm.
And then Jacob is representing it's like your flesh and your spirit battling against each other, and the
Yeah.
flesh is willing to give up all morality to satisfy its immediate desires, even if it's bad for it. And then the
Mm.
spirit on the other side is like trying to glorify God and care about the things of God. So why does he want the birthright? It's because he wants the blessing of the firstborn.
And then
And
he
in that
becomes, he goes from
context,
Jacob to Israel, which is wrestles with God.
to struggle with God because he is
Hmm.
focused on God. So rather
Right.
than being the supplanter that replaced Edom, he then becomes Israel, the one who's actually struggling with God, not the one who
Mm.
caves into his flesh, but the one who
Right.
fights against his flesh to
Hmm.
be with God. So pretty cool stuff. Pretty cool.
Very cool.
Yeah. The the more you study the Hebrew of the Bible, the cooler the Bible will get.
Yeah.
Because there's so much wordplay and poetry and like high level technical stuff that just gets lost in the English.
Hmm.
Because it's a very interesting language. Of all the languages I've learned, this one is by far the most interesting. If nothing else, it's the most limited. It doesn't have many
Yeah.
words, and it
Right.
uses repetition at times to define differences between this, like the plain understanding of that word versus what it means in context.
Hmm.
So, oh, that's just so cool. Like Isaac and his wife. It's like, what? But yeah,
Uh-huh.
Isaac is, laughing with, he's enjoying his wife. It's literally what it means.
Hmm.
He could have been having sex with her.
Hmm.
Uh, who knows? It says
Right.
caressing. It might, like, who knows if they were clothed or not. It was like he
Yeah,
was
because even
enjoying his
now
wife.
this, not to get too graphic, but I mean even the verb in Hebrew can be used as like a crying out even, which
Mm,
is where you can see the parallel between that and laughing. It's like in a uh abrupt noise making, I guess.
mm, mhm. Like, I'm not gonna do
Right,
that'd
right,
be
right. That's what I
wild.
was saying. So
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah. Noises you might make in either form, both
Mm.
guttural and high pitch during coitus. So
Mm.
anyway, the inner older Chris in me was about to moan into the mic, but I'm not gonna do that right now.
Yeah, no, I don't think that
So
would be a good idea.
that would be a good idea, right? But Jacob said, "First, sell me your birthright." Abrupt noise making, i.e., farting, right? Uh,
Now this is where though
tickling
Jacob's,
his wife.
where his carnal side or his supplanter side is coming to the forefront, because he's like, well,
Hmm.
yeah, I mean, I can give you some of this, but what do I get out of it?
Yeah. He's
Right, right. It's
pre.
his
It's
nose all of a
just,
sudden is.
just being a precursor to something. I don't know. Um, I kind of like my nose jokes, because I also have like a little bit of the curve to it too. Um, so I got like the side profile, like, oh,
The equine curvature.
oh yes.
That I'll say this real quick, Chris, because I don't want to do be too tangential, but I know we've got at least 21 minutes left. There's a Basil Rathbone Sherlock Holmes where I forget which Sherlock Holmes
Oh,
story it is, where he puts like the a bust of, I think, one of the Caesars in his window as a it's as a shadow to make the people out on the street think that it was him. And at when Watson finds out, Watson thinks that like Sherlock got killed, and then he goes, "That looked just like you," and he goes, "Prominent men have prominent noses." So that's what I always think of when.
Uh, I definitely forgot to turn off ads while we're live. So if anyone got an ad just now, I apologize.
Oh, you see, here we have he's gone full
Uh,
blown, Judaizer with
let's type in a description for the stream. I was about to say going through Jewish. No, I'm going through Genesis on Yitzhak and Avram.
Isa.
I saw.
Isa, which is
Yeah.
funny. Again, back to
Eyes.
the Quran. Uh, they name
On
Jesus after, literally, letter for
Esau.
letter, Esau, which is
Right.
not
So
linguistically in any way related to Jesus. But yeah,
right,
I
yeah,
took my
we
2 minute tangent there.
I can give a quick 3-minute claim on that. Gotta
Okay,
make that
it's important.
7,000
It's
payments.
important. Yeah.
Anyway, so Edom here is one of the names for Esau, even though Esau is not actually like his name is not Edom,
Mm,
but he was called Edom. Edomites are the descendants of Esau. They are the
mm,
followers of Esau, and Christians by Jews polemically called Romans Edom. They called
mm,
Rome Edom, and they called Romans Edomites
mm,
because they were not true followers of Israel. Just so happens to be at that point in time, Rome was Christian. So they're calling Christians Edomites. Well, who is Edom? Edom is Esau. It might have been the case that he heard some Jews calling Jesus Esau as a offensive usage of the term. They also called him Yeshu, which is an offensive usage of the term. Do
yeah,
not
Yamach
call Jesus,
Shemo is
yeah,
in
do not,
Hebrew. May his name be blotted out.
correct. Do not call Jesus Yeshu. Call him
Correct.
Yeshua. If you're going to call him anything in Hebrew, do not call him Yeshu.
Yeah.
So, uh, it might have been that he heard Jews calling him Esau polemically, thought that was actually his name, and then gave that rendering of the word, which is pretty funny. Yeah, Esau, but it's Isaw or
Yeah, with
Isa.
the
Yeah, there's a guttural at the beginning of Isa. So whenever we say Isa in English, that's not actually how you pronounce it in
it's
Arabic.
ISO.
Isa,
ISO.
Isa. Yeah.
It's actually what led me into being the person that I am. The letter Ayin, the Hebrew letter Ayin
Mm,
is how I got into Torah and Hebrew and everything. But that'll be a story for my own channel one day, and when
mm.
I'm gearing up for my big showdown with Chris. While I was away on my own personal live stream, I when I think it was what was it, Spencer? I love watching Chris take charge because Chris is a very laid back guy. He's very kind and polite, and then you get to a certain point with him, and he'll still be nice about it, but he'll just be like, I've had enough, and you got one more chance. And so I was having fun listening to that because he's like, I'm gonna put you in timeout.
He's still in timeout. Yeah. The iron. But yeah. Anyway. Um. Yeah. I hope to never have to be loud on a stream for any reason.
Mm,
Especially because like I don't want the old Chris to seep out anywhere. But I used to be an extremely violent man. Despite what I am now.
mm.
So yeah. No, I used to be very eins, zwei, drei, vier, fünf, sechs, sieben, acht, neun. Whoa. What happened, man?
Ja, sehr
Sorry.
gut, sehr gut.
Ja, so gut. Kommen Sie hier bitte, ja.
Ich möchte etwas essen. It's one of the few things in German.
But yeah, and all your names. Yeah. Nine. No, as whenever I was learning the things like ESTTENTENEN, these are the verbs. These are the verbs. This is what we say. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah,
That's like
there you
the Spanish. Is A B C D E F G H I J K. No, I think we cornered the market on alphabet songs in English with
Oh, that's
Mozart's little
beautiful. Yeah,
tune,
yeah.
which I wonder what he would think about that. He was probably writing that like, what a wonderful thing. And we're like, yes, yes, little 3-year-old,
A
A,
B
B,
C
C, D.
D E F
I always
G. Yeah.
wonder, like, if he knew what we did with that, would he be very happy or would he be like, what are you doing? This is a wonderful song and you're making it like where kids learn the alphabet. Could go either way, but
I think he'd be pretty proud of that 'cause,
I
literacy
would
was not
hope
great in his
so.
time. So I think, hey,
Mm,
we used his music to teach literacy to the world. That's pretty
mm,
based. Yeah.
yeah.
Anyway, no, my German is very rusty. I got to like, I say I took 4 years of German and then interacted with German somewhat most of my life, and I do not know German. So I'm sure if I like got dropped in the middle of nowhere Germany in like a couple days, I could pick it back up to where I was. But
Mm.
no, I know
The
more
one thing with
Japanese than I know
German though
German
is
now, which is
it's
really funny.
close enough to English in basic like grammar that
Mm,
it
yeah,
if
it's the
you know
same. Yeah,
enough, you're
right,
good. You know what I mean?
right.
It's not like other languages, like for example Hebrew or Arabic, where it's like,
Mm,
wow, this is a
unrelated.
completely
Yeah,
different thing.
I'm deeply aware of that situation. Unfortunately, I've learned a good bit of Japanese, Hebrew, Arabic, and Greek, and German. And German by far was the easiest. Not
Yeah,
even
yeah.
remotely
Oh
close.
yeah.
Yeah, not even remotely close.
And I've learned more
Das
Greek than I
Matschen.
have German, and I'm still much better in German than I am with Greek. I just can't get Greek. It's when you have words that are like 28 letters long. What are you guys doing? Relax.
They like their conjunctions, dude. Just
They
let them do
do.
the thing.
And
Anyway,
declensions and all those sorts of oh, wacky
so
Greeks.
Jacob said, "First, sell me your birthright." And Esau said, "Behold, I am about to die. So what use then is the birthright to me?" This is what our flesh does all the time. Oh,
Hmm.
I need intercourse. No, you don't.
Yeah,
But I need it or I'm going to die. No, you're not.
right.
And it's like, oh, I need food. Okay, it's fine. I'll get you food. I need it now. I'm gonna make you
Hmm.
cranky. You could just not. Um, all that nonsense. So he is representative of the world and of carnality and of our flesh. And then Jacob answered, "First, swear to me." So he swore to him and sold his birthright to Jacob. So Jacob gave Esau bread and lentil stew. And he ate and drank and rose and went away. Thus Esau despised his birthright.
Hmm.
Cared nothing for. The flesh cares nothing of the spirit. The flesh cares nothing of God. And that's why we die. It's why we sin. And
Hmm.
here we have Esau perfectly portraying that situation.
And
I feel
also,
bad for
funnily
Esau, but
enough, Jacob portraying still carnality, but in a like a cunning way.
mm,
Because
very
he was
different
still like,
types.
yeah, I'll get something
Shrewd.
out of this. So this is like, if you're gonna mess up, I'll take your mistake.
Right.
But
And
we're just gonna. But he still at least
yeah,
was able to say there is something there.
right.
There is something worthwhile in that.
Yeah. Levi Lesko, he wrote a book called Swipe Right. A very good book. It's very basic, very good for teenagers to understand what you should be focusing on for marriage. I'd recommend most teenagers to read it, including his other books. He's just a great author. He's before the time of all the kids nowadays, so you're not going to know who he is. But he goes through and he does a whole object lesson on you don't want what the devil's cooking in his crock pot. And he uses the lentil stew as the example of you have to
Hmm.
know what God is trying to give you, the worth of what God has given you, and you're selling it for basically nothing. You're not actually
Right.
getting any of it. And I love this quote so much. It goes so hard. It is um Judas sold Jesus out for 30 silver. I sell him out for free.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
And we blame Judas. We make fun of Judas. We mock Judas. But you're not
Hmm.
even getting paid to do it. You're just doing it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so many times you do
Don't
it, and then you
participate.
think, why did I do that? Well, that
Yeah.
wasn't worth it. That was stupid.
Yeah. All the time. So, um,
What was that called again,
lots.
Chris? That might be something that I would like.
Oh
Is
yeah,
it kid
Hannah.
friendly?
Yes,
Yeah.
it is. The only thing that's not
She's
necessarily,
already solid on that kind of stuff, but I mean reinforcement is always welcome.
yeah, any teenager could read it. It's definitely PG-13 and up. No problem. The
I'm gonna
only thing
write
is
it
like he talks
down.
about how he conceives his kids because they play a game, to do it, which is really cute.
Okay.
And then so they play hide and seek. So whenever they were like honeymooning, whenever they were young, didn't have kids, he would come home for work and his wife would be hiding, not dressed. and then he would go out and find her, and then
Now,
they'd
wait
do
a
that
minute, hold
to
on.
make it spicy.
Man, you had me sold on this, and I was like, wait a minute, what kind of?
No, it's still really good. I'll send you the portion that I'm talking about. But then he comes home
Okay,
now, and then his daughters are playing the game. So he goes and he has to find his daughters. So he
but they
finds
are
it
dressed
endearing,
though.
and yes, they're dressed. And he finds it endearing and loving and all that stuff. And he's like, it's super ironic because at least likelihood of one of them being conceived from that game is pretty high. So uh that's the only
Okay.
story in it that I would be like, yeah, but no, it's a really good book. I highly recommend it. Um, Also a fun practice if you if you're a young married couple or even an older married couple, you want to change it up, and as long as you're not like sticking your butt at the window and people are like, driving by. But
Yeah, where they can see you
anyway,
Isaacing your.
see you Isaacing your Isaac. Yeah. Anyway, so don't buy into what the devil is trying to cook you. Fight back against it. Be mindful in all situations and hold fast to God. Don't
Well, and
become
another thing,
Edom.
it will be very alluring in the moment.
Mm, mhm,
But if Esau were to have come home and said, "Oh, I mean, we just spent a week making unleavened bread." Now I know we didn't have to grind the flour for ourselves, but uh, it wouldn't have been too much for him to just throw together some food, something to eat. If he was starving, like he said, throw something together and get a hold of yourself and control yourself. And he was like, "No, no, no, I'm about to die. Give me
mhm,
some of that, and yeah, whatever at whatever cost, just take it from me." I mean, I think most of and I think especially men, I, well, I would say probably only men to this to this extent would be able to identify with the idea of where you see something and you feel just completely out of control,
mhm.
and you don't even really have to go through loopholes or anything to make excuses for it. You're just like, I have to do this. I have to do this or I'll
Right,
die.
right.
And then you do something stupid and then you think, wow, I was a total idiot. I was not going to die. I didn't need to do it. I could have like had a cracker
Waited.
and taken a
Yeah.
walk. And
Mhm,
yeah. So, but again, it's like you were saying, Chris, the Bible teaching through story like that. Uh, I don't know if there's any grown man that can't relate to that level of, I mean, I guess it would be lusting or coveting,
mhm.
uh, where it's
Desiring.
just like you become an animal almost.
Mhm.
And uh and to an extent we are animals in that we are created beings, but we are above
Right,
animals where we are in control of what we decide what to do.
right.
And eh,
We're not a slave.
so yeah, I
We
don't
have
want to.
freedom.
Yeah,
Yeah,
right, right.
yeah, despite what
And
some people
anyone who
teach.
says that right, there's a lot of people now who are teaching, look, this is a natural desire, this is this or that, and it's wrong of you actually to think that you are wrong or to try to control it. You shouldn't be trying to control something that's natural. Like
Right.
dogs don't do that, and then I mean, I guess it would be like a naturalistic from a naturalistic perspective, but you do see it
Materialistic.
even
Yeah.
in, yeah, you see it in some spiritually aligned perspectives where it's they're like, God created us this way with these desires and these things, and it's you should not suppress them. Or it doesn't
Mhm.
really hold up, though. It doesn't hold up biblically in pretty much any way.
Right. Yeah. Um, no, we're already at 2018. Just gonna keep going. No, I agree. So for the Abimelech story, that's actually around 60 years after the first encounter with Abimelech. So whether or not it is the same Abimelech and he's like in his 80s or 90s, or it is his son, either way, that's really funny. But here we have an Esau was 40 years old, and he took as a wife Judith, the daughter of Beri the Hittite, and also another Hittite. And they brought
Hmm.
bitterness to Isaac and Rebekah. They brought suffering onto Isaac and Rebecca. And um it's interesting, it's like the word here used for bitterness is roch. It is the spirit or the wind. And it's also like sorrow, or literally it's Morah, which might get into like Mariah or anyway. But we have like such an interesting word here for bitterness, is like such deep bitterness that's affecting their spirits, or like affecting their souls. So, hey, should you pick an important woman, or like marriage is an important thing? You should really care about it. You should really think about it beforehand. You shouldn't take 2 years to date a person to figure out if you're going to marry them or not. In my opinion, you
Hmm.
should be able to figure out if you're going to marry a person in the first month. Just saying.
Yeah, oh,
Anyway,
absolutely. Yeah.
um, if you're not, then you're doing it wrong. I
Hmm.
met my wife and I was willing to marry her at a month. My brother married his wife at 3 weeks and 2 days into meeting her. So, they are now 2 kids in, and I don't know, 6 years marriage.
And
Not a
onwards
problem.
to eternity.
Yes, because they love each other, they love God, and they're putting God at the foundation of their relationship. You need to know your
That really is
priorities. You
it,
need to know
right?
your
You know,
relationships.
you
Yeah.
prioritize God, and
Yep.
that I mean, it's as simple as that.
Hmm. A cord of three strands is not easily broken. When it's you and another
Mm,
person, it can be broken easier. But if you have God in the mix, it's not going to get broken easy.
hmm.
So, the vast majority of marriages that pray together at least once a day, they do not get divorced. When I say vast majority, I mean like in the high 90s. So the vast
Wow.
majority of
So the
praying
vast
couples,
majority.
the vast majority of praying couples do not get divorced. Um, which is, and then they also report higher satisfaction with their lives, including their sex lives. Fun fact.
Hmm.
Married people have more enjoyable coitus than unmarried people, and usually have it more often because you have a partner that's
Yeah,
dedicated to
that
the process. So,
I know too many. Now I'm older than you, Chris, and you, when I was your age, even I felt old.
oh yeah, I'm
Where
already
it was
old.
just
My
like,
back,
where it was like, wow, this is things are different. But when you get to
dude. I have
40,
I have pain pills on me at all
Metamucil.
times. Dude, like I couldn't go to sleep the other day because my hip was aching too bad from doing yard work. So I had to take some pain med. I turned 30 in a couple weeks. Um no. Why? Everything's
No, but I know
falling
people
apart.
that are
Anyway.
my age. Like my generation is a weird one though, in the West. Well, especially America. And I know people my age and even a little bit older that they it's bad. It's really bad. It's uh, and I don't know if I think it has to do with because of us being raised, my generation being raised by the boomer generation, which went through, the free love and the second, I
Hmm.
think, second wave
Hmm.
of feminism.
Hmm.
And so, but
No,
but the thing is, they
third wave?
saw my parents' generation saw that that didn't work, and so they
Right.
tried to kind of dial it back, but they dialed it back carnally rather than spiritually. And as we all know, carnality only goes so far. And like we
Right.
see with Esau, yeah, I'm hungry. I'm gonna die. Feed me, and I don't care what it costs. And I mean, I was taught that in school. It when we had health class, and instead of teaching us that sex is the special thing that should be only between a husband and wife, they taught us, look, you're gonna do it because this is what
Hmm.
teenagers do. Make sure you do
Culture
it
is,
this
yeah.
way because
Right.
you're going to get this disease or this. And the weird thing is, it was fear based. Hey, you're
Yeah.
going to get chlamydia. You're going to get gonorrhea. You're going to get look at a chancre, which I was like, I only knew that from Ravi Shankar, which was an Indian musician, and I didn't know it was also a term for a growth on your genitals. It's like that's weird. But they tried to
Yeah.
scare you out of it instead of trying to tell you that it's not good to do for reasons because
Hmm.
it was public school, so
Right. No
they
morality.
Right, no morality. It was
Right.
just like, look, don't be dangerous with your health. But then it's like, I mean, everybody's ASAW, right? Well, I don't care about my health. Look what I can get. And then so now the thing is like, fortunately, I didn't end up caught up in that, thanks to my dad's direction, even though he had a lot of his own faults. Uh, but there are so many people I know my age right now that did get caught up in that, and they're still. It's weird. You look at them and you're like, you're a 40, you're physically 40 and you're mentally 12, and they think they're good because that's I think that's what's like sad for me is there's enough people like that where
Mm,
they can still continue to engage like that, and they're not happy, they're lonely, they're distraught, but there's enough of them where they can get together, and for a night or a couple weeks they think everything's cool, and then it all falls apart and they go back to very sadness, and then they go to like antidepressants or alcohol or things like that, and then they just keep repeating it. And so just very, very sad. I'm hoping that my generation was kind of the last of that, as a widespread type of perspective.
yeah,
I think.
the younger women are definitely realizing it. There's a lot of, like, women on
Hmm.
TikTok just crying after, like, a
Yeah,
one night stand being like, "They lied to us. This doesn't
right,
have like, how long are we gonna keep playing along with this lie that this
right, right.
actually means anything or has matter
Hmm.
or, like, there's anything to this. It's just bad for us. Like, it hurts your soul." Like, I cry after every single time.
Right.
Right. So the younger generation's getting it. They're still
And
doing it,
sadly, they're
but
having to learn it
they're
like
getting
the
it.
hard way. They're not
Right.
getting direction.
Right.
But
Yeah.
this is kind of, this is
I'm gonna do
part
my
of
own
what
live
we're
stream real quick.
doing.
Wait.
Okay. Well, Chris is being selfish here because I was just about to excuse myself for that. But anyway, I will now host Chris's stream while he's gone. I don't have. I've changed my setup in here. It probably doesn't look so different to the viewer, but I'm completely. I've done a 90-degree angle turn, and uh, that's not very interesting, but it seemed relevant. Trying to think of anything to tell you guys. Well, anyway, uh, no, I don't think I have anything to say. I was gonna reach for my silly, stupid notebook with my plans for domination, but I haven't really worked on that lately because I've been up to other things. But if I know I can do a typical YouTube thing. If you've not liked the stream, go ahead and click like. And if you haven't subscribed to Chris's wonderful channel, Defending a Lion, go ahead and subscribe now. And that way you'll be at the cutting edge of what Chris is up to. Oh, that's the sorry, I'm distracting myself. He's got that American flag back there. I think he was telling me, I remember one time that that's from the Revolutionary period, I think. I hope he gets back soon because I have to also, uh, to use very scientific terms, I have to void my bladder. And normally he did, the last time when I was trying to unfurl my plan to rule the world like Pinky and the Brain, he came back in like after 10 seconds and I thought it was a total facade or a farce. And now he's voiding his bladder and it's like feels like 40 years. There you are, Chris. I was struggling because I also have to go attend to a personal live stream. But I did notice if you want to, you should continue on. But I forget what you were telling me about that American flag in the background. Is that from the Revolutionary period? Is that what you said, or is that the Civil War?
The Civil War.
Civil War, okay.
Yeah.
But I'll be right back.
Okay, you're fine. Um, the pat. What's the pitch? What? I have no idea what you guys are on about. Anyway, so I've decided to keep going. We're gonna go through 27 real quick because it's related, but I'm not gonna do any tangents myself. If Steven stops me with tangents, we'll see. But I'm gonna be out of here by 10, so I can keep working. But on the book. Anyway, 27:1. Now it happened that when Isaac was old and his eyes were too dim to see, that he called his older brother, his older son Esau, and said to him, "My son." And he said to him, "Here I am." And Isaac said, "Behold, now I am old, and I do not know the day of my death. So now please take up your gear, your quiver, and your bow, and go out to the field and hunt game for me, and prepare a savory dish for me, such as I love, and bring it to me that I may eat, so that my soul may bless you before I die." Part of the reason why he had favoritism for Esau is because he brought him food that he liked so much, and he did an activity that he could relate to, that he enjoyed. So we need to show favoritism in the way of, I need to be passionately supportive and interested in my kids' activities per kid, what they're actively doing at that moment in time. And I need to show them equal love, or as much love as I can per kid. That I love whenever uh there's maybe Rabbi Telushkin. Um Dennis Prager tells the story of one of the rabbis that he knew, and he was giving a funeral, and all of the kids came up to the rabbi afterward and said, I know that my dad loved all of us, but he loved me the most. Every single kid of this father, it was like 6 kids, every single one of them believed that their father loved them individually the most out of all the brothers and sisters. That is a wonderful, amazing thing that we should all strive to do, that we all usually fail at doing. But whenever we don't have that with our kids, we see the result. This is the result. Anyway, now Rebekah was listening while Isaac was speaking to his son Esau. Then Esau went to the field to hunt game to bring Isaac. Now Rebekah loved Isaac, and she wanted him to be the favored one. And is Phasey being Phasey? Okay. Um, got off track with my own thought. Oh, Rebecca wanted Isaac to be the one that would actually inherit the promises. He already had the birthright. He already had the inheritance rights. Part of the birthright may have been the blessing as well, like the covenantal promise of the Messiah through him may have been part of the blessing. We see that with Judah a little bit, but it might have been the case that Isaac was improperly giving the birthright to Esau because he loved Esau, for the blessing, and Rebecca was trying to actually make sure that the son who has the birthright currently is getting the blessing of the Messiah. But that's his own discussion. Like, either she was helping him because he deserved the blessing because it was his birthright, because he got the birthright from Esau selling it, or she was trying to help Jacob because she loved Jacob more. Um, just depends your view of Rebekah in this instance. But Rebekah spoke to her son Jacob, saying, "Behold, I heard your father speaking to your brother Esau, saying, Bring me some game, and prepare a savory dish for me, that I may eat and bless you in the presence of Yahweh before my death. So now, my son, listen to my voice as I command you. Go now to the flock, and get for me 2 choice young goats from there, that I may prepare them as a savory dish for your father, such as he loves." I love this little thing here, like the wife knows what her husband likes. It's cute. "Then you shall bring it to your father, that he may eat, so that they may bless you before his death." And this type of details here, the personality we get from the people, is why I love the Bible so much, and why I think the Quran is so obviously not from God, because it lacks all of that. It's such a wooden, stale book. There's no depth to the characters or the interactions between them. "So then you shall bring it to your father, that he may eat, so that they may bless you before his death." Then Jacob answered his mother Rebekah, "Behold, Esau my brother is a hairy man, and I am a smooth man. Perhaps my father will feel me, then I will be as a mocker in his sight, and I will bring upon myself a curse and not a blessing." Um, If God's will cannot be thwarted, why did Rebecca and Jacob need to sin to achieve it? You assume that God's will cannot be thwarted. I don't actually hold to that position. I'm an open theist. But yeah. Anyway. But also, I don't know if I would classify this as sin necessarily. It might have been that they were rightfully trying to establish the birthright blessing, and that Isaac and Esau are the ones sinning here, not Rebecca and Jacob. You can say all four of them are sinning here if you want. Anyway, but his mother said to him, "Your curse be on me, my son. Only listen to my voice and go get them for me." Oh, so I know people are going to take what I said earlier out of context. Um, what I mean by God's plans can be thwarted. It says all the time that God didn't want people to do what they did, and they're still able to do it. God does not have. We have free will. God does not have divine. Or he does. He chooses not to have exhaustive control over every action, thought, and behavior that we do. Otherwise, there would be no evil in the world, but there'd also be no free will. We'd all be flesh robots. Um, so how can God's will be thwarted? Well, God wants all of us to not sin, and He cares for all of us, and He wants all of us to repent and live in communion with Him and not do evil, and we don't. Therefore, His will is thwarted. Um, in order to say otherwise, you have to say that God desires for us to sin, which is evil. You only get that with Allah. You don't get that with Yahweh. Yahweh wishes for us to not sin. That's the problem. Anyway. So he went and got them and brought them to his mother, and his mother made a savory dish as his father loved. Then Rebekah took the best garments of Esau, her elder son, which were with which were with her in the house, and she put them on Jacob, her younger son, and then she put the skins of the young goats on his hands and the smooth part of his neck. And if you've never held goat skins, they feel mostly like humans, not an insane amount of not like humans. As far as like the peach fuzziness and like the thin wispy hair, it's not that crazy different. Depending on where you're grabbing it from and how you prepare it to begin with. So if he was a thick hairy dude, it's not that far off. She also gave the savory dish and the bread, which she had prepared, into the hands of her son Jacob. Hello.
Back, Chris.
Yeah.
I was
If
tuned in.
God
I was tuned
already
in.
if God already chose Jacob, why did Rebecca need to lie? Why do you assume that God chose Jacob? Does anywhere in the text it say that God chose Jacob specifically? The closest thing you get is whenever they're named, God says that the older will serve the younger. That's about as close as you get. But it may have been that Esau could have changed his ways. He didn't.
Uh-huh.
God knew
Yeah,
that.
because
He likely
foreknowledge
wouldn't
doesn't
have.
necessarily doesn't mean choosing.
Right. So you have that. Um, and why did Rebecca need to lie? Because Isaac was doing something wrong.
Hmm.
Again,
And
if
also,
God,
I would say Rebecca was doing something wrong too here.
right,
I mean, everybody was
eh,
kind of doing something wrong. But
right, all
that's
four of them kind of suck in this instance.
wait, so and is it's Romans 8? Which one is it, Chris? I say it's my favorite verse in Romans, and I always forget 8:23. All things work together for the good for those who love God.
Yes. 30? What is it? 8.
God takes our
30?
mistakes. Like we were talking about earlier with David.
Mm-hmm.
David is called a man after God's own heart, and David did things that, God willing, I will never do.
Mm-hmm.
I won't be so bold as to say I will never do them. I would hope to God that I never do anything near what David did. But also, I would also say
28.
I'm no David. Yeah, so let's do that real quick, Chris. If you read that beautiful verse.
And we know that for those who love God, all things work together for good for those who are called according to his purpose.
Hmm. So that what that means is when we mess up, God still has a way to redeem it. The redemption
Mm.
aspect of God. We can do stupid, terrible, horrible things, and as long
Mm.
as we persevere in our relationship with God, he can take the worst of what we do and make it into history-changing goodness. And
Mm,
so in this instance
yeah,
with
get that in
Isaac and
Genesis 50.
Rebekah and Jacob and Esau, they're all really, I mean, nobody's the good guy here. Nobody is.
Right.
And
Yeah, they're all
yet,
kind of sinning.
yeah. I mean, it's all scheming, and it's, I mean, besides actually Esau, but he's not on track to begin with, because he already sold his birthright,
Mm.
and now he's trying to still benefit from it, even though he bargained it away for a bowl of soup.
Yeah, I mean, he let
God is
go of his
merciful,
promises. Yeah,
right?
like what do you like? He gave it away. He gave away his
Hmm.
birthright, and God
Willingly. It
knew
was
willingly,
right.
like despised it even. Yeah,
Yeah.
he cared not for it. So why did Rebecca do this to trick Isaac? Because she probably knew Isaac favored Esau and that he was not going to
Uh-huh.
bless him, even though he was supposed to. So, if someone's being stubborn and not doing as they're supposed to, how do you deal with them? You either deal with them through force or you deal with them through deception. Um,
Hmm.
that's really it. Like even just like, oh, if they all just sit down and have a proper conversation, that's gonna get heated. It gets heated, and by the end of this, he promises to kill Isaac or
Yeah.
Jacob.
And then his mom has to send him away to say,
Right.
"Look."
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
And then
Yeah. So
we get this really cool resolution to it later on. But we'll get there like in 2032, if the Lord tarries.
right. Yeah, we'll see. Okay. Anyway, um, so yeah, like why why is all this stuff happening? It's because of free will. Ultimately speaking,
Hmm.
we have free will.
Hmm.
I know Islam doesn't teach we have free will, but we have free will. We actually can go against the will of God.
Which
So
which I think a lot of Muslims I don't think they know. I don't think they know that yet.
that in Qadar,
That
or
that
that
they
we have
don't
free
know
will.
that how rigid Allah is, or how
Oh yeah,
uh,
yeah,
far be it from me to cause a controversy, but how Calvinistic Allah is.
yeah,
It's
yeah.
predetermination.
Right. Qadar is it's a required. It's one of the articles of faith of Islam. One of
Mm,
the 6 or 7 articles of faith or attributes of God, whatever you want to call it. Like so it's one of the pillars, like of the 11 to 12 things that are the foundations of Islam. Predestination, Allah's absolute control over all things, is included in that list, and you
mm,
have to accept it. Yeah.
yeah.
Anyway, so and keep going. And Jacob said to his father, I am Esau, your firstborn. I have done as you told me. Rise up, please, sit and eat of my game, that your soul may bless me. Then Isaac said to his son, how is it that you have found it so quickly, my son? And he said, because Yahweh your God caused it to happen to me. Then Isaac said to Jacob, please come near, that I may feel you, my son, whether you are really my son Esau or not. So Jacob came near to Isaac his father, and he felt him and said, the voice is the voice of Jacob, but the hands are the hands of Esau. He did not recognize him because his hands were hairy like his brother's, Esau's hands. So he blessed him, and he said, are you really my son Esau? And he said, I am. So he said, bring it near to me, and I will eat of my son's game, that my soul may bless you. And he brought it near to him, and he ate. He also brought him wine, and he drank. And his father Isaac said to him, please come near and kiss me, my son.
Mm,
So he came near and kissed him, and he smelled the smell of his garments. And then he blessed him and said, see, the smell of my son is like the smell of a field, which Yahweh has blessed. Now may God give you of the dew of heaven and the fatness of the earth, and an abundance of grain and new wine. May people serve you, and nations bow down to you. Be master of your brothers, and may your mother's sons bow down to you. Cursed be those who curse you, and blessed be those who bless you. Now, this is brought up a lot, and it's also brought up elsewhere in the Torah in Numbers and in the first covenant given to Abraham through Yahweh in Genesis 12. So this comes up a number of times, and people use this uh, incorrectly, in my opinion. There is this applying to the ethnic race of Jews, or is it applying to the political entity of Israel?
Mm,
Um, I would say it would apply to the ethnic Jews, not to the
mm,
political entity. The political entity is not the chosen of the Lord. They're not the ones who are the priesthood. They're not the ones that were blessed with the promises of their genealogy. They're not the ones that are blessed with the Torah. Um, the
mm.
nation, like the political entity, is just a manifestation of prophecy as a demonstration to us in the end times. And God
Yeah,
is
and
using
we
it to
have
bring the word of knowledge to all the Jews there. Like there's millions of Jews going to follow Yeshua because of the nation state of Israel existing, which is awesome. It's based, it's cool. But
uh,
um, can we be critical of the nation state of Israel? Yeah,
yeah, and we should be because it's secular.
right.
And
We should be
so
critical of
what
all
business
nation
do we
states.
have supporting a secular? We don't.
Right.
However, just because it's secular doesn't mean we toss out everything that involves
Hmm.
because we see this in Kings and Chronicles and everything where there's good kings, there's bad kings, but God's oath to the people of Israel, not the
Hmm.
government of Israel, but the people of Israel is still standing.
Hmm.
And so the people of Israel can do some terrible things, which they do, and God handles them. Uh, and so no one should feel worried about criticizing the secular state of Israel, but also
Hmm.
that doesn't throw out that the secular state of Israel is still a miraculous manifestation of that the people of Israel still can come back. I mean, name a people group in history that has done what the people of Israel have done. It doesn't exist.
Right. There isn't
When it
one.
linguistically, historically, when it comes to governments,
Right.
it is a miracle, and so there is
They're special.
something to it.
Yeah. There's
Exactly.
something weird going on with them. Right.
But if you were to say, "Oh, the government of Israel, I must support the government of Israel because they are attached to the people of Israel," that's not the case, and I think that's where
Right.
a lot of wacky people get caught up in. I mean, they make their weak arguments
Right.
that
Yeah.
they assume that the people that support these these promises of God are supporting the secular Israeli government. That's not the case. There's not a clear cut thing where you can say, "Oh, you are in support of the people of Israel, therefore you support the state of Israel." But you can still
Mhm.
support the state of Israel to an extent because it is. I mean, it really is a miraculous thing that God brought about.
Right.
But just like we read about in Kings and Chronicles, uh, the secular state of Israel does not have God's backing. It does, and nor should we back uh,
Right.
it in those ways.
Yeah. Yeah. Faisy, you brought up the night journey of Muhammad. That is a stolen story by Jews and Christians, actually. You get that
This is Chris's specialty.
in Second Enoch and in the Apocalypse of Paul. In the Apocalypse of Paul, you also get it in a couple other places too. The one with the Holy Spirit is interesting. Um, the Ascension of Isaiah is one of the sources for that. So if you read through the Ascension of Isaiah, he goes through and he meets all the prophets and he's lifted up through the seven heavens. And the same thing happens with the Apocalypse of Paul. Paul is brought on a night journey from Jerusalem throughout the seven heavens, and he meets people on the way, and he sees the four rivers of paradise made up of milk, honey, wine, and oil. It's not water, it's oil. So all of that idea of the night journey, other than his black spot being washed, all of that is rabbinic and Christian myth. And the reason why that's in your faith is because it's stolen from human writings. And again, it's not from the Bible. It's not from the Bible. It's from human mythos. Your faith is based on human mythology. You're a part of a cult, a Jewish cult
And also
specifically.
the idea of variants of the Bible is
I have
way
no idea.
overblown. I mean, it's not really. That is
Right.
variants of the Bible.
We can stream on it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's it's not
Yeah.
that's not what you think it means or what it's been taught to you. And also, Chris, if I'm remembering correctly, so I may be wrong, but in this Islamic night journey, is it specifically mentioned? Is Jerusalem specifically mentioned? Because I feel like I've heard that
Uh,
that's not the case.
I believe it is. It mentions the
I thought
mosque there.
it was saying that
It,
like the
it might
furthest
be.
mosque is what it was called,
Yeah,
but it
yeah, yeah, yeah,
wasn't
yeah. And that
specifically named as Jerusalem.
right, but that is interpreted as Jerusalem, except by
Right,
Muhammad
right.
mythicist. Yeah,
Hmm. Okay.
but yeah. Um, I mean, I don't want to go down that tangent.
Yeah.
I'm literally writing the book on this topic right now, actively as we speak. I'm literally
Stay
writing the
tuned,
book on
everybody.
this.
Stay tuned.
Yes. Um, but no, I anyway. So we're gonna just keep chucking because we're almost done with 27. Then I'm getting back to the book writing. Now it happened that as soon as Isaac had finished blessing Jacob, and Jacob had hardly gone out from the presence of Isaac his father, that Esau his brother came in from his hunting, and then he also made a savory dish and brought it to his father, and he said to his father, "Let my
Mhm.
father arise and eat of his son's game, that your soul may bless me." And Isaac his father said to him, "Who are you?" And he said, "I am your son, your firstborn Esau." Then Isaac trembled exceedingly violently, and said, "Who was he then that hunted game and brought it to me, so that I ate of all of it before you came and blessed me? Indeed, he shall be blessed." As Esau heard the words of his father, he cried out with an exceedingly great and bitter cry, and said to his father, "Bless me, me also, my father." And he said, "Your brother came deceitfully and has taken away your blessing. Taken away your blessing." It was not really supposed to be his to begin with. He knew the
Mhm.
word of Yahweh that it was supposed to be for Jacob, and yet he ignored it. Then he said, Is he not rightly named Jacob, for he has supplanted me these 2 times? He took away my birthright, and behold, now he's taken away my blessing. And he said, Have you not reserved a blessing for me? But Isaac answered and said to Esau, Behold, I have made him your master, and all his fellow brothers I have given to him as servants. Now, think about this for a moment. He was planning on doing this to Esau.
Mhm.
I have made him your master. How wicked, how evil of a thing to do for your sons. That I'm going to make one son the master of the other is a messed up thing. We see this happen one other time that I'm aware of off the top of my head. It happens with Noah, but it's happening because it's a curse, not a
Mhm.
blessing. So at the same time, he was intending to bless Esau and curse Jacob, curse one of his own sons. Wild. So
Mhm.
whenever I talk about like Joseph is the only one who's actually sinless, and of the patriarchs, like of the types of Christ. Um, that is wild, dude. Um, insane. He
Now,
is
now, Chris,
intentionally,
this does
but
bring up a question I have that I'd be interested in your opinion on. That again, we actually just hit your limit of when we should call it for the night. But when I
almost.
read this story, and I've read in the previous blessings, I mean, it was a big deal for the sons to seek out their father's blessing before he died.
Mhm, mhm,
Um, and then when we think about like the word of God doing things, or when God spoke creation, and then Jesus spoke his healings, and we're warned against misusing words and things, because if from my 21st century Western eyes, I see this and I think, well, he could just say, "Oh yeah, I told it was him, but now I found I was fooled, so I'm just going to tell you the same thing." Do you think that there is some sort of like existential weight or precedence to speaking things actually is there are certain things you can speak that would be not revocable, I guess. Are we seeing a precedent for that being set here that we don't normally like have anymore in our day, like the same thing we were talking about with names earlier? Or do you think this is a cultural thing of the time? How do you view this?
Mm, like
Because he's
irrevocable blessings or Christian.
right, right,
Yeah.
and ones that like where like I mean, if obviously if my kids were to come to me, I'd say, well, I wish you God's blessings on all of you. I wish you success. I wish you everything you do this way and that way. And when we read these things, though, they seem it's like a limited tank basically, where it's like you're gonna get this, and then I'll give the rest out after that. Uh, is there permanent power in the things we speak that is that carries into reality that maybe we don't recognize? Or would you say
I
back
mean,
then
there's
it's different, or back then they didn't do it correctly, or what would you say?
I mean, if you read James, he says the power of life and death is in the tongue.
Mm-hmm.
And we need to be careful what we speak because we have a similar creative authority as God does because God gave it
Right.
to us whenever he made us. We
Mm-hmm.
are unique in our authority among all of creation. We have a
Mm-hmm.
higher level of authority than the angels. We have a higher level of authority than the seraphim and cherubim and all of them. Um,
Mm-hmm.
you could even arguably say we have a higher level of authority than Michael.
Right.
Humans alone are made in the image of God. We have the
Mm-hmm.
authority of God to speak and to cause creative actions to happen. So we can speak and miracles can happen. We can also speak and cause things to happen just by our own authority or our own will. Which is why you should not like joke around like, oh, I have cancer, ha 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 ha. And then like a
Right.
couple of years you do that all the time and like you end up with cancer. Like, oh wow, imagine that.
Mm-hmm.
It's like self-fulfilling prophecies, but it's you
Like
are
that new
commanding
age type
it.
of the power of positive thinking thing. It
Yeah, the
obviously had something
attraction.
to it,
Law of attraction.
obviously
It
not
does. Yeah.
right.
Yeah. And we know scientifically, actually, there's studies on this, that whenever you
Mm-hmm.
speak life over things, it does better. When you speak death over things, it does worse. So you can actually do this to
Mm-hmm.
plants. If you tell a
Yeah.
plant that it's beautiful and that it's healthy and that it's growing, it has been proven that that plant actually does better. If you tell a plant that it's ugly and disgusting and dirty and will never amount to anything, it will shrivel and die and it won't produce fruit. So your tongue has power over nature. It just does.
Which is
Um,
congruent
one of
with us being made in the image of God and him speaking creation. I mean, it said, and God said, let there be light. Let there be
right.
this, let there be that. And that's through the word of God things were created. And even with Jesus's miracles, he spoke them.
Mhm.
And so that's what I was wanting your opinion on is here we see where instead of Jacob's or Isaac saying, no, I was fooled, never mind what I said, I'm going to do it to you now. He says, well, it's already gone out. And so I have to give you something different.
Mhm. Yeah. I mean, that could just be a part of the anointing of the Holy Spirit too. That he's giving
Hmm.
the blessing of the messianic covenant to his son, and you can't give the
Hmm.
blessing of the messianic covenant to both kids. So like, why couldn't he just revoke it and
Hmm.
give it to the other kid? Um, well, he already gave it out, and it is the promise was given to him. So
Hmm.
it would be disrespectful to God a bit to do that.
Yeah.
Um, but oaths matter. People are
Yeah.
today way more flippant about their oaths than people were back then. So
Hmm.
anyway, um, sunk cost fallacy. So he was asked what keeps you coming back to the chat. And Fazy responded with sunk cost fallacy. I've already read 400 verses, 50 insults, and 12 different Trinity explanations. I can't leave now. I'm emotionally invested in the chaos. Chaos. Funny. You should read way more than 400 verses,
Chaos?
my guy. It would lead you into more and more truth. I encourage you, Fazy, if you haven't read the New Testament, just go read it. Um, Read the Old
Mm,
Testament and compare it to the Quran, see how different it is. And then read the rabbinic sources
yeah.
and see how similar that is to the Quran, and you can get a sense of the Talmudic dilemma. But God is working through all people. He's encouraging you to come to Him. He loves you and He cares for you. And Allah doesn't care about humanity really. Even though His name's Al Wadud, He's not actually loving. But Yahweh is loving.
Mm.
He does actually care about you and He loves you. So think about coming to Him. But anyway,
It is an interesting change of perspective, which is that a lot of times you hear from Muslims, well, your God ate or he pooped or he was killed.
yeah,
And I get that from that perspective, but at the same time, yes, our God was willing to do that because he loved us so much.
it's an amazing
And
thing. Yeah,
right.
right. Yes.
Mhm.
Yeah, image bearing is not a belief, a part of Islam, but it is the central belief of Judeo Christianity that we
Mhm.
are made in the image of God, that we have innate worth and value in God's sight. All of us,
Mhm.
even those who are sinful and hate God, He still loves us and values us. Anyway,
And most Christians would say we were there once. We were there. We were
yeah,
the
me.
enemies of God.
Yes,
Uh
absolutely. I hated God for a while.
yeah.
hmm Did things to spite Him as well,
Mhm.
which is crazy. Because for a lot of it, I didn't even believe in Him. But I would like mess with Bibles because I knew it was like offensive. So no, I didn't. I've done a lot of messed up stuff. I don't have to
Well,
go
yeah, and
down
then
that
for
rabbit
me
hole.
it was God made himself known to me and I was ashamed and so I ran from him. I was kind of like a Jonah. It's like, well, I don't
Right.
you made yourself known to me, but I'm not doing what you said, and so what right do I have to approach you at all? And
Right.
it's just always bad. Go to God, go straight to God and
Mhm.
deal with him. He's willing to engage with us. This is the thing. The God loves us and is willing to engage with us and speak with us and desires us. And so open up that line of communication and you'll see. I mean, he'll be there. He'll be there and then you don't have to take anybody's word for it. You can have your own experiential knowledge of God and then no one can will be able to talk you out of it. I think that's where me and Chris are. No one could talk us out of it because we know God. And so
Yeah.
whatever anybody would say, it would just be like, well, whatever, I don't
Right.
doesn't
I
bother me,
have
whatever you have to say.
so many reasons. Not only have I experienced untold number of miracles in my life,
Mhm.
I've performed miracles.
Mhm.
That's kind of crazy. I've performed miracles in the name of Jesus. That's
Mhm.
pretty weird. Like yeah, like um I don't want to go too deep. Man, I just want okay. I'm gonna finish
Yeah,
this
sorry.
and we can talk until we have 16 verses.
Okay.
Anyway, um but Isaac answered and said to Esau, behold, I have made him your master, and all his fellow brothers I have given to him as servants, and with grain and new wine I have sustained him. Now as for you, then what can I do, my son? And Esau said to his father, do you have only one blessing, my father? Bless me, even me also, O my father. So Esau lifted up his voice and wept. Then Isaac his father answered and said to him, behold, away from the fatness of the earth shall be your habitation, and away from the dew of heaven from above. By your sword you shall live, and your brother you shall serve. But it shall be when you become restless that you will break his yoke from your neck. So Esau bore a grudge against Jacob because of the blessing which with his father had blessed him. And Esau said in his heart, the days of mourning for my father are near, then I will kill my brother Jacob.
Yeah.
So again, favoritism
Mhm.
causes bad things.
Mhm.
Polygamy and favoritism causes the same thing, but worse, which we'll see with Joseph. Then the words of her elder son Esau were told to Rebekah, so she sent and called her younger son Jacob and said to him, behold, your brother Esau is consoling himself concerning you by planning to kill you. Um, and so now, my son, listen to my voice and rise, flee to Haran, to my brother Laban. Stay with him a few days until your brother's wrath subsides, until your brother's anger against you subsides, and he forgets what you did to him. Then I will send and get you from there. Why should I be bereaved of you both in one day? Then Rebekah said to Isaac, I am tired of living because of the daughters of Heth. If Jacob takes a wife from the daughters of Heth like these, from the daughters of the land, what good will my life be to me? So then she says, hey, you shall not take a wife from the daughters of Canaan. But
Typical mother-in-law. No.
it's Isaac that is telling him that, which is
Yeah.
hilarious to me.
Yeah.
So Isaac is either listening to his wife or he's also annoyed by the Canaanite
Mm.
daughter-in-laws. Um, But yeah, the Rebecca is like, I'm so tired because of these daughters. I would rather die than have another one of these.
They
Just,
don't make the noodle
uh,
stew for you the way I make the noodle stew for you, and they'll never make it as good as I make it.
Mm. Oh yeah.
It's
Anyway.
just I love this section because Chris, you were talking about there's not like so much specifically in here, but there's a lot
Mm,
that like anybody can relate to. Anybody who's in a family,
mm,
which is anybody,
right.
and you just see kind of the full spectrum of everybody in a family messing up.
Mhm,
And in one way it's disappointing because you look at these people and you're like you these are big names, but at the same time you're like, well, yeah, but they're also just people like we are, and they messed up like this. And so we want to look to them and say we want to do better than them, God willing. But also, if we screw up like them, we have a God that will redeem our mistakes and uh, make it work out to his goal, which is what
mhm,
I would think any follower of Jesus would say. You know, whatever happens in my life, uh, kind of a very mild, without being disrespectful to Jesus, but a very mild version of Gethsemane prayer, which is not my will, but your will be done.
mhm,
Uh, I mean, for me as a dad, even with my four kids,
right.
and we've had our struggles, and there's still struggles ongoing, but I can say if I if the Lord doesn't allow me to wake up tomorrow morning, I don't have any regrets because I now not having regrets doesn't mean I don't look back and say, wow, I really messed up there. But I know that I'm always trying to do what I ought to do, and I will mess up. And I think you've kind of pointed this out, Chris, several times where you could make like so many videos on parallels between being a parent and
Mhm,
the things with God.
mhm.
It really does. Being a parent is, I mean, it just kind of throws you in there, and then all of a sudden you understand God in ways that you it's not that you
Yeah.
never could, but
Oh man.
experientially, it's
Yeah.
really just like
You
throws you
don't
right
relate until
into
you're a parent. Yeah.
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 Whenever you have multiple toddlers at the same time, oh, you get it. You understand. I understand so much better now. Um, all of the relationship between humanity and God. I this shit.
But it's funny too
Yeah.
because in your strengths and your weaknesses, you understand God.
Right,
Because
yeah.
there was just like I think it was just 2 weeks ago when at the store my 5-year-old was just and I forget what I was holding her hand and she was being an enthusiastic 5-year-old and she's pulling and tugging this way and that way. And I would try to like kind of steer her like, hey, we're walking down this way, come on. And she doesn't know. She's not looking for that. She's just, I'm in the store with my family and having fun. I'm gonna just kind of and so at one point I would say like, come on, don't pull me anymore. Don't pull me. It's hurting my arm. Don't pull me. And then after like the third time, I had to get not, not stern or physical, but my arm became rigid. It was no longer a gelatin arm that she was pulling around.
Mhm.
And I said, "Look, I asked you, please don't pull my arm anymore." And she broke down, which was sad for me because I wasn't trying to make her feel bad. I was just like, "Look, we're walking here now, and you're gonna bump your face into someone else's card or something." And but it's one of those times where, like, I've seen so many times, sadly to say, when I've been out at the store and parents just will scream at their kids, or they'll hit their kids, which is something weird to see in public, but you see it. And uh so as a parent, even when you're all I did was just stiffen my arm and say, "Look, I asked you to stop. We need to not do that anymore." And it
Mhm.
affected her that way. And so that would be like, for me, I know that it was annoying to me, but I know I could have yelled, or I could have been grumpy or this or that, and all I did was just talk calmly. And so then it makes me feel better too, but it also gives me an understanding of God, because so many times God does that. What is that in when Jesus says, "How I would have gathered you under my wings,
Yeah, and Luke.
O
Like
Jerusalem,"
little yeah,
like little
as a hen
hens.
gathers
You like
chicks
the
under
hen,
her
yeah.
wings. Yeah.
And instead it comes with, that's what he wanted,
Mhm.
but that wouldn't have worked. And so he had to come uh, a lot more forcefully. So being a parent, you get this view of God, and because God is, I mean, we call him Father. He is our parent. And when you are a parent, you get this insight into God that you don't necessarily get when you're not a parent, when you have lives depending on you.
Right, yeah. Yeah, it's a very different experience. It's a very, very, very different experience.
But much
Yeah,
recommended, I would say. I mean, it's not if
right.
well, I don't want to encourage a bunch of people who may not be equipped to have kids. Well, I don't know. I mean, I, I wouldn't say I was equipped to have kids, but then you
Neither was
do, and and then God walks you through it. I don't know.
I. Yeah. 'Kay. So I want to address, Phase real quick before I get off. I'm gonna give him
Hmm.
10 minutes of my time, then I'm gonna call it a night.
Okay.
Um, so he accepts that Jesus is the Messiah, then he brings up another question about John. Um, yeah, I think he is trying to use the word of God, as a, okay, that's not a good argument, my guy, but I'm
Oh
not gonna go through that
yeah,
argument right
no.
now. Okay. Who is the Messiah according to the Bible? Because the Messiah in Islamic theology is not actually expanded upon. Jesus
Uh-huh.
just is it, and they don't really know what. He just
You
has this
just
title in the
accept it,
Quran. You
right?
just accept it.
Means
Yeah, so
nothing.
what is the Messiah according to the Bible? According to the Old Testament. Not the New Testament that you consider corrupted and crazy and all that stuff. No, let's talk
Mm.
about the Old Testament. What is the Messiah? Well, the Messiah is God according to the Old Testament.
Mhm.
Which is why a lot of Jews who are like Torah only, they become Torah only because they reject the prophets. Because the
Mhm.
prophets speak of a divine Messiah and they can't have that.
Right.
So we have in Isaiah 7:14 that the virgin will be with child, will conceive and bear a son, and she will call his name Emmanuel. You believe in the virgin birth of Christ and that he is the Messiah. This is a messianic prophecy about the virgin birth. And what is his name? God
Mhm.
with us. His name is literally God. And we also get in 2 other chapters that he will be the Prince of Peace. And
Mhm.
just shocked by it because the
Sar
format
shalom.
was screen. Yeah, for a child will be born to us. This is Yahweh speaking. Yahweh will get a child. A son will be given to us, and the government will rest on his shoulders. So he is the Messiah, the King. And his name will be called Wonderful Counsel. This is a divine title. Mighty God, divine title. Eternal Father, divine title. Prince
Mhm.
of Peace, divine title. There will be no end to the increase of his government or of peace on the throne of David and over his kingdom, to establish it and uphold it
The
with
throne of
justice and
David,
righteousness
where
from then
God
on and
promised.
forevermore.
Mhm,
Yes. So forever. He's eternal. He's an eternal king who is a wonderful counselor. He is magnificent. Again, these are all deity claims by God and mighty God specifically. He's also called the branch. But
yeah.
in Jeremiah, we get a similar thing. With, behold, the days are coming, declares Yahweh, when I will raise up for David a righteous branch, and he will reign as king and prosper, and do justice and righteousness in the land. In
Mhm,
his days, Judah will be saved, and Israel will dwell securely. And this is his name by which he will be called, Yahweh our righteousness.
mhm,
The Messiah will be Yahweh our righteousness. The Yahweh who gives us righteousness is who the Messiah will be. Also see this in Micah 5.
mhm.
But as for you, Bethlehem Ephraim, too little to be among the clans of Judah, from you one who will go forth for me to be ruler in Israel. This is the Messiah. His goings forth are from everlasting, from the
Everlasting.
ancient of days. He is eternal, the eternal divine Messiah. Then you have 100, Psalm 110. Yahweh says to my Lord, my Adonai, sit at my right hand. Who can sit in the presence of God? No one other than God. Until I put
Mhm,
your enemies as a footstool under your feet. And then you also have in Daniel 9, or not Daniel 9, Daniel 7. Daniel 9 is a different prophecy of Jesus. Daniel 7, we get that I kept looking until thrones were set up and the Ancient of Days was seated. So there's multiple thrones for God to sit in in the throne room of God on Judgment Day. There's going to be multiple thrones, and Yahweh, the Father, takes one of these seats. The Ancient of Days takes one of those seats. And then the Son of Man comes and he's led into the presence of him, and he sits on one of the thrones. And I kept looking in the night visions, behold, with the clouds of heaven, one like a son of man, one like a human, was coming. And he came up to the Ancient of Days and came near before him. And to him was given dominion, glory, and a kingdom, that all the peoples, nations, and every men of every tongue might serve him. His dominion is an everlasting dominion, which will not be taken away, and his kingdom is one which will not be destroyed. He's an eternal king who's able to sit at the right hand of the Father in glory and have everyone worship him.
mhm.
All
And
people will
Psalm
worship
2 also, Chris,
him.
Psalm 2.
Yes, yeah, but the Son.
Yeah.
Um, I will surely tell you of decree of Yahweh. This is God speaking. He said to me, "You are my son. Today I have begotten you." Well, where's the begotten Son of God? You
Mhm,
also get this in Proverbs 30. Ask of me, and I will surely give the nations as your inheritance, and the ends of the earth as your possession. You shall break them with a rod of iron. You shall shatter them like a potter's vessel. So now, O kings, show insight. Take warning, O judges of the earth. Serve Yahweh with fear and rejoice with trembling. Kiss the Son, lest he become angry, and you perish in the way. For his wrath may soon be kindled. How blessed are all those who take refuge in him. Who's the him
mhm,
here? It's the Son.
mhm,
You have to take refuge in the Son. You have to take refuge in Him, and then you get the same thing in Proverbs with Proverbs 30. With not kiss the Son. What is His name? This is speaking of
yeah,
God, and what is the name of His
what
Son?
is the name of his son? Yeah.
Surely you know. Who is the Messiah in the Bible? It is God. I read the Bible. That's how I know El Gabor is just used for human heroes. Okay, again, all of it. It's not just one thing. It's not just a one-off. It's
Right.
dozens of verses. Every single description we have of the Messiah equates him to salvation. They say we don't know how to read. Oh my goodness. You're belligerently ignorant in these things, my brother.
I thought
But
I saw, what did he say? What is the, let's see.
anyway, all right, that's enough of my time for him.
Yeah.
He can think if he wants. He's accepting him as
What
Messiah,
was the
but
language
Messiah
of
means he's
Jesus, he
God, and he
asks.
ignores
What
that.
was the language of Jesus?
Well,
I don't know
Jesus
where he's
knew at
going with
least three
that.
languages.
Right.
He knew Greek. That's a fun fact. Jesus knew Greek. He also probably knew
Uh-huh.
Latin. He knew
And he read
Aramaic.
from the
And
Hebrew
he knew
in the
Hebrew.
scroll of Isaiah.
Uh-huh. Jesus could speak at
So,
least four languages,
right.
if not all the languages, because Jesus is God.
Oh,
Anyway,
right.
yeah, universal language. What is this? The Tower of Babel? Yeah, I know. Anyway, anyway, I'm gonna get back to writing. He
Yeah.
also probably speaks Latin because he speaks to
Pontius
what's his
Pilate.
face? Wow, Pontius Pilate without an interpreter.
Hmm.
So he probably
What is
spoke
it?
all
Quidus
languages, to be
veritas.
honest. Especially because
What is
Peter
truth?
says, "Lord, you know all things." So we have like his disciples declaring that he is omniscient. He has all the attributes of God. He claims to be omnipresent. He says, "If two or more are gathered in my name, there I will be." He claims to be all powerful. He claims to be able to forgive sin. He claims to be able to um, has divine knowledge of, hey, I saw you, so and so at this place before you even approached me. Um, all that fun stuff. So yeah,
Faisy, Chris and I both can read the Hebrew. So when you
right.
say,
What's El
when we
Gabor?
read mighty God, El Gibor,
Yes,
El
El
means
Gabor.
God, Gibor means mighty.
Hmm. Hmm.
I don't know where you're wanting to take that argument. I mean, you don't even need to have to know the Hebrew. You can Google what does El Gibor mean, and it'll tell you. It's
Interestingly, you could remove El Gabor from that sentence. Every other title in that sentence is divine.
right.
El Gabor is not the most impressive part of that.
Correct, correct. My son is named Gavriel, which is actually reversing of the Gavri, which
Right,
is Gibor.
right,
My strength,
yeah,
El, is God.
right.
Uh,
You do not even need mighty God. The everlasting Father and wonderful counselor are way higher deity claims than El Gabor.
mhm,
That entire sentence is a deity claim. The
right,
entire verse is a deity claim, including the stuff where like he's gonna have an everlasting kingdom.
right.
Um, like there's like 7 deity claims in that verse. So you have to then throw out every single one of those deity claims. But it's not just that verse. There are dozens of verses. Every single verse, especially all of Isaiah, like every single verse on the Messiah is making him divine, which is why Jews who reject Jesus as Messiah reinterpret all that nonsense
Correct. I was going to say historically, the
or
Jews
just
at the
throw it out.
time should have no problem with any of this, and they
Right.
didn't. And this is
The
where
Second
Chris is
Temple
again. He's got
Judaism. Right.
videos on the Targum meme and everything, where how they
Mm-hmm.
interpreted these things, and
Mm-hmm.
so the information is out there. So I would recommend that instead of maybe being so aggressive in what you hold as your position, before you do that, because I did that when I was pre knowing God. I became very aggressive in thinking that what I knew was the truth, and explore, be willing to see. What you want to do is, if you're going to make an argument against something, at least make sure you know the strongest case of the argument you're opposing, because if
Mm-hmm.
you just come out guns a blazing and you say all this stuff and then you don't realize that it's like there's really nothing to it,
Mm-hmm.
you're not going to fare well. So uh it looks like you've done enough research where you actually care about the topic, but you got to be fair and say, I mean, it's pretty. What you're saying, it's the Dawa script kind of going back to Chris's specialty. You're saying a lot of things that are said without basis that sound strong or reasonable if you don't really have knowledge on the subject. But if you just come out tossing these things out to people that know what they're talking about, doesn't really hold up. It doesn't really hold up, and you don't want to. If you're going to base your life and your salvation on something, you want to know what you're
Right. It's not a
talking about.
game. Right.
Right, right. This is not
Like
just
this
a.
is your eternal life we're speaking
Hmm.
of, which is why we
Yeah,
care so much, which is why we're
right.
passionate. Because we don't want to see you in hell
We
because
don't
we
we
don't
don't care
deserve
to win an
salvation.
argument.
Right.
That's
Yeah.
not
Like
what we're
I'm
doing
the
this
worst
for.
person I've met. And I I deserve hellfire so
Hmm.
much so that it's actually shocking to me that I won't be going there. Um, there's not a single thing I did that deserved salvation.
Hmm.
I do not want to see you burn because I deserved it and God had mercy on me by dying on the cross in my place. You can have that too. You just have to accept God as he actually is, not as Islam is teaching you, which is obviously false.
And
So,
we are thrilled to welcome you to the family. Uh,
absolutely, yes.
so this isn't us just trying to win an argument or mock you or anything like that. The arguments you're presenting, they just really don't hold any ground. And so you don't have to take our word for it. You can just take what we say and go and investigate yourself. But you are very confident on a lot of positions that they really don't hold
Because
up under scrutiny. So
right,
just explore
not
that.
very
Really,
powerful.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm already working on my book, so I've checked out myself and just letting
Well,
them
and
talk to
Chris,
each other
this
at this
is
point.
this is interesting. It's only 11:32 my time, which might be the earliest we've ever been done,
Ended a
which is
live stream.
awesome
Yeah.
for me because my daughter has state testings in the morning. She wants me to go with her to it, and you saw the picture before the stream where I'm at right now. It looks really nice on on the live stream, but it was a mess like 20 minutes before, and I want to test out this instrument I've been trying to repair.
Ooh,
So
was that
it's
the is it a zither? What's the name
it's
of
a
that?
well, kind of it's a Dilruba. It's an Indian
Ooh,
bowed instrument. So
nice.
if you you probably know what a sitar is. It's kind of like the stereotypical Indian music. The
Oh, then yeah. Is that
so a
the
Dilruba
one
is a
from the dun 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 da, da? That one?
I know you're talking about Dolar Mendy. The
Yeah.
tunuk tunuk tai tai tai.
Yeah.
I don't actually remember the
Ah, da,
instrumentation of that because
dun,
the
dun, da,
and he has the
da, da, dun, 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 da. Yeah. Yeah. Love it.
so Dilruba is
One of the
it's
best
a
songs of all
bowed
time.
version basically of a sitar, which
Mm.
is it's super cool. It has like 20 or 22 sympathetic strings, so when you hit notes, strings resonate in the background and very cool. I actually bought it for my friend in the local orchestra, but it arrived broken. And so that was, man, I hate to say this, it was like 10 years ago, and I said I would repair it. But I've gotten to repairing it this, I think. I used wood glue and some skin that I don't know, not human skin.
That would
But
be
there was some
creepy.
drumhead skin that was also donated by another member of the orchestra, probably from a timpani or something. And so I had to let the wood glue set for 24 hours before I could put it under tension of the strings and stuff. So that's what I'm going to do after
Mm.
this, and just see how that goes. Uh, brother
Yeah.
Tom might
Um,
be familiar with this instrument. But
hmm.
we'll see how my craftsmanship turns out. I used some thumbtacks and some wood glue, and we'll see. But
Nice.
man, 11:34, that's the earliest I've ever seen on a Monday night. Normally we'd just be like an hour into our stream, Chris, and I'd be talking about like who knows what at this point. So we'll let
Well, we are 2.5 hours into it, so it's not like
Yeah,
we're
yeah. So
moving
we
stream
did,
at any point
man.
in
So
time.
we're making records all across the spectrum of me and Chris
Yeah,
streams. So we'll let Chris get to his book,
it's
and
true.
we'll let me get to my silly Indian instrument, and
Silly Indian instrument. Okay,
maybe we'll open up next stream. I'll have a week
a
to
little
learn how to do
performance on
something.
it. Yeah,
It's
that'd be
very
cool.
cool. Everybody look up Dilruba, Dilruba. But
I
that
will do.
does also, I won't get tangential here, Chris. I did want to ask you, which I can't, because got to get to work on your book. But
I already am.
okay, but certain instruments, You know, I'm maybe overly cautious about paganism and things like that.
Mm,
What I would ask is, are there certain instruments that maybe uh, are are steeped in paganism that ought to be avoided? But that can be a conversation for some other time. Because I definitely don't want to do that. I definitely don't want to use if the because it is like linked to Sikhism and Hinduism, these
mm.
instruments. Uh,
Yeah, my gut instinct would be no, just because of the Psalms, where
mhm,
he says, "Come with me with your lyres and your timbrels and your tambourines." Like the type of instruments that he's saying, "Come to me with," would basically
mhm.
represent all of modern music, when put together.
Okay.
So I don't think you would fall into any weird category with that.
Well, I don't. That's the
It
thing is, I
also
don't
says,
know the
"Sing to me a new
history of this
song."
instrument. There's certain like uh certain gurus that were credited for inventing this
Right.
instrument, and so it would be, well, does that kind of contribute to maybe
Mm,
a defilement of this particular uh
mm,
uh what would be the word? Gosh, this now that's expression of music. Uh,
mm.
no, that was probably
Yeah,
taking it too far, I would say. But I just want to be careful. I just want to be careful.
yeah.
So,
I would lean towards no, but I also have a much more liberal view of it than you do. So,
hmm
but scripturally, I would say God tells us to sing him a new song. So, like, oh, I only have this one set psalm book is actually not really a biblical idea, to be honest.
hmm
So he's very happy whenever we use our love for him and our joy for him to come to him and sing him new music to
hmm
demonstrate our love for him in these new creative ways. And if you can do that by using music and joy and love and all that stuff, I would see why I wouldn't see why that would be an issue.
hmm
Unless you're doing it specifically to some pagan deity, then it'll be like,
Right,
well,
to like maybe
obviously that would be
emulate
false.
or bring
Right,
like
yeah,
some sort of carry over some sort of
right,
feeling or sense of
yeah. Or doing like the pagan of, the festival of drunkenness, if you saw
yeah,
my
yeah.
golden calf video. Yeah, like, recreating that would not be ideal.
Right,
Um,
right.
but if you're just doing it for, all that stuff, yeah. FaZe is gonna be a Christian, I agree. Praying for him. I'll put him on my prayer rotation.
You know what? Let's maybe Chris, we could wrap it up tonight. Let's end with a prayer for FaZe.
Yeah, why not? You wanna lead it or you want me?
You're my gracious host, so I'm. What do you say? What?
I'll let you do it, why not?
All
Go for
right.
it.
Jesus, our indescribably wonderful Messiah, our King, our Savior. We thank you for all of us being together right here and right now, and for the whole stream. I thank you for the opportunity that you've given all of us to be able to fellowship in this way and to learn together. And particularly tonight, uh, Faisy has brought up some questions, and I ask that his questions are satisfied in you, that you make yourself known to him, and that he is welcomed into the family and your kingdom. And whatever it is that he's struggling with, uh, we as a group request that you meet him at and give him the answers to satisfy his requests. And we pray that uh, as we know that you love us, we know you love him, and whatever he's looking for, if he's genuinely seeking it, we pray that he sees it. And uh, beyond that, I just personally would like to say I'm very grateful for the opportunity to be here amongst all these people. And I'm very grateful to Chris, who has made this. available to all of us. And of course, I'm infinitely grateful to you, who we none of us would be here without you. And in your glorious and precious and holy and indescribably wonderful name, we pray. Amen.
Amen. Okay. It says, I'll become a Christian the day you explain why no sacrifice for sin is left. Doesn't mean what it says. Um, that is in relation to Hebrews 10.
Hmm.
Uh, whenever you come to know God, this is actually part of what is known as the unforgivable sin.
Hmm.
So Jesus talks about this in Mark chapter 3 or chapter 4. I always mix those two up because I taught on them at the same time. But he's talking about this in the Gospel of Mark and the other Gospels too, with uh the unredeemable sin. The unredeemable sin is the blasphemy against the Holy Spirit, and it
Hmm.
basically is when you know God, when you experientially know God in such a deep and personal way that you would be like me or Stephen, that you've walked with God for a very long period of time, that you've fully gone into your relationship with God. When I say God, I don't mean just like any version of God that you think exists. I mean specifically Yahweh, becoming a Christian, having that
Hmm.
born again relationship with Christ, accepting the cross, all of those things. So knowing God as He is in the Bible, and when you get to that level of knowledge, and then you reject Him, there is no other crucifixion for you. You've rejected Christ, and that is the unredeemable sin. Whenever you sin in that way, when either you apostate in that way, or you start saying, in the example in Mark that Jesus gives is the Pharisees. The
Hmm.
Pharisees know Jesus is God explicitly. They know He is God, and they say, by the power of Beelzebub, so the power of Satan, He is casting out demons. So He's
Hmm.
calling Jesus, who they know to be the Messiah and who they know is claiming to be God, Satan. So whenever you get to that state of hatred for God as He is, and that knowledge of God as He is, that is the unredeemable sin. Whenever your heart is so far from Him that you would not be willing to repent anymore,
Like
that's whenever
Pharaoh.
God can't redeem you, like Pharaoh
Hmm.
or the Pharisees. Those are the people who will end up in the lake of fire in Tartarus in hell. Those people have fully rejected Christ in all the ways that you can. At that point in time, if you've taken on the cross, if you've accepted the cross, as it says, and then you've rejected the cross wholly, not like going down a prodigal son journey, not backsliding, none of that. No, I mean like
Right.
fully intellectually assented to the rejection of Christ, full apostasy, you cannot be saved. That's what it's talking about. You have
Hmm.
not committed that. I have not committed that. I sinned today. I did not commit that sin. I'm still under the covenant of the cross. It's whenever you've rejected the cross after accepting it fully,
Hmm.
not like a baby Christian, not like someone who's only
Right.
like, no, like someone who was like a pastor, like ex pastors are not going to be saved.
Hmm.
Those type of things. That is the rejection that we're talking about. That is what Hebrews is talking about. So it is a description of the unredeemable sin. Whenever you commit the unredeemable sin, there is no other sacrifice of Christ available for you. You are going to hell, but you chose to do that. It's an act
Hmm.
of 100% knowing what's happening. Um, yeah, but so I hope to see you in the kingdom, brother. Love you.
Yeah, let's get there. Let's get there.
Yep. Okay. I need to work before I get sleepy.
Mhm.
So I keep making progress so this book can come out so we can help with leading all those
Billions,
lost in
billions of
Islam,
people.
billions of
Yeah.
people into the faith and spend eternity with them
Yep.
because God loves them and cares for them.
And
So,
so do we.
good night. And so do we. May the grace of the Lord Jesus Christ, the love of God, and the fellowship of the Holy Spirit be with you always. Consider Yeshua for your salvation. Good night. Laila Tov.
Balatov.
I almost left stream again. All right.